ya estuvo. Mira, one of the things that already stumbling through the first part of this, the musical talents of these guys is so underappreciated because one, it diverges a little bit from, not a little bit, quite a bit from traditional narco corridos. And you see that infusion of it's trap sound, you know? So it's funny because, like I mentioned, I didn't really grow up with like old music. I heard it, I was around it. But what I grew up with, because shit, man, like some stereotypes are true, raised by young individuals, um, was more modern music. And so I had to work my way back and rely on extended family members, things like that, to be educated on this stuff. Uh, because not only was it simply modern stuff being pushed, but on the flip side, there's a lot of rock and roll. A lot of rock and roll. Anyways, so the thing that I really appreciate about, the modern, or the, I mean, now it's kind of weird to say modern because it's old at this point, uh trajectory or subgenre within the narco corridos. Anywho, these guys, they won me over immediately because of that raw sound when it comes to the guitar. I was in. Uh, they, I didn't even know they had a movie. I don't follow these people. I just listen to their music. So there is this movie called The Debt Collector with Shia LaBeouf, and a whole lot of fucking George Lopez is in there. All right, that's where we're at with this movie, and could not get through it. I could not get through it because I've said this before. Like, I'd rather have no representation than representation. I don't know what y'all are fighting for. Like, this is it's brutal. So hearing somebody speak Spanglish to such an exaggerated. There's a show called Vida, where one character, every other word was switching Spanish to English, and it's so forced, especially like with the area. Spanglish is dominant, especially first, second generation, but it's gonna be like sentences in English and chunks in Spanish, right? And the only time where you're really gonna talk in Spanish the whole way through is if you're talking to someone who does not understand it, not just speak it, but doesn't understand English, or if you're doing like an actual, like a legit transaction, right? Like in a more professional setting, that's when you're gonna lock in. But I mean, anywho, I lost my train of thought. Oh man, I just been having a lot of fun, bro. I've been having a lot of fun. Like, I really do appreciate the chaos, which isn't good, but again, like having the privilege and the benefit of growing up doing martial arts, you kind of like crave that chaos, right? Um to be in the middle of it and to be have that position, to be locked in, that's my favorite thing. Um I hate mosh pits because I'm like, no, I want to hit you. I don't want to accidentally hit you. I want to hit you. And I want you to want to hit me. A fight within a mosh pit would be dope, right? That'd be cool because now you're dealing with external factors. Anyway, shout out to Black Liberation Media. Shout out to the Remix Morning Crew. Yeah, because that was some fun stuff, man. Like the ear doctor pulling up. I forget his name. Is it not? Is it like Frost or what's his name? Shoot, what's his name? Is he from Chicago? I remember seeing like that Chicago flag, the state flag, but I can't remember. Anywho, um, Damn, is it Frost? What is that security guard's name? Anywho, shoot, I can't remember his name. Anywho, so the Year Doctor pulling that up was hilarious. But yeah, man, I can't really talk about it. I can't talk about it right now. But it's cool to know that at this point, not personally, but I could reach out to certain people, um, and see if there's gyms around that they know of when I am traveling for union work. So that'd be cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I did not expect that. That was not on my fucking bingo card. That was not on my radar. Um, but anywho, yeah, I think that it just demonstrates. I think one of the y'all know that I overestimate and I'm biased towards someone with a good sense of humor. I'm just biased towards it. But the thing is, for the most part, I feel that when you're talking shit and roasting, um, it demonstrates how your life lacked challenges, how comfortable you were if you can't keep up, and if you trip up and end up exposing yourself, it's fucking hilarious because some people aren't down to be like mudslinging. When you're born in the mud, it's comfortable. I think I'm very, I think I'm very privileged and comfortable where I'm at. I think if people saw what I see, they would disagree. Um, but it's such a huge leap from renting rooms, renting garages, moving a lot, uh, finding stability in multifamily homes is always interesting, and it makes you appreciate having your own personal space. Um, Not even multi-generational, just multi-family, by the way, to clear that up. So for me, it's always fun. It's always fun when you could tell that somebody's had it easy. Uh, One of the reasons why I've always struggled to really apply myself and try is because I'm so fucking grateful for what I have. And um, to a lot of people, it might seem like it's not enough. Like I'm drowning in debt, right? Because be honest, I didn't think I was gonna make it this far. And I understand from the outside how it may look, but from the inside, I am so fucking grateful. So goddamn grateful. And I've always felt like the fortunate one. And I think a lot of us that are first generation that have contact with family, who have family back home, wherever that may be, you can't get away from that. And you feel guilty. You feel guilty if you're ungrateful. You feel guilty if you don't appreciate and make the most out of things. And that's what I struggle with. Is like I know I can make more from the benefits and privileges that I have, but I am so content with so little because I know what it's like not to have a lot. And so it's a weird double-edged sword where I know there's a lot of people who are like, and probably grew up in worse conditions than I did, um, who just get obsessed with, career elevation, money, and all that stuff, and they lock in and they hustle hard, right? And they're like, never again. I'm gonna make sure that like I'm never put in that situation, and their savings on point, they're investing all their shit's on point. I get that, but when you have family members who are literally like outside on the street hoping to get work for the day, and you see how manual labor has destroyed their body, that they need alcohol as a painkiller, not just for the mental trauma, but for the physical trauma they've been through. When you see that, and yeah, I get it's different when you have a family, and I think that's a huge reason why I don't want a family. I don't want that responsibility because I know what type of sacrifice it requires, and I'm not willing to pay that. I'm too selfish. I'm too selfish to pay that price. And so when you've seen it, and when you've seen it up close, and not just that, the weird emotions of, because of machismo, disagreeing with, being in conflict with, being in opposition towards individuals who have sacrificed so much, and then feeling like, and it being thrown in your face that you should be more grateful. And it's like, nobody told you to take on these responsibilities. Nobody told you to have, to put yourself in this situation. You can't really put the onus on those of us that had no say in being here. And so it's complicated. Está difícil. Está difícil. That constant battle with the Catholic guilt. Thank goodness that I was a typical Mexican that only went to misa like tops like 5 times a year. For a while, did study the Bible. I am baptized. My soul is safe. We're all good. Communion, all that stuff. It's always fun to see those photos and shit. Because you're in a white suit and you're like this little fucking frijolito, like this brown kid, like in it. It's funny. Because I didn't do that stuff when I was a baby. It just wasn't feasible. So it's funny trying to catch up. Anywho, where are we at? How we doing? ¿Cómo estamos? Espresso Depresso, I see you in the Twitch chat. AJ Brooks, how we doing? And then we got Daria in the live chat. ZZ, how we doing? ¿Cómo andamos? And then Born of Africa. Hi, glad to see coverage on Sudan. Yeah, I've been lacking, and we're gonna lock in today. We're really only focusing on 3 things today. 3 things. So hopefully I'll do my best to get through it all. It's very detailed, the article on Sudan. Again, my apologies for dropping the ball there. Ace, shout out to Ace, y'all. Everyone, y'all, I mean, I appreciate, especially on the Discord, people putting me on to articles that I had to get through. But Ace is somebody who, to be honest, can be very aggressive with their advocacy of needing to bring attention and focus on Sudan. But and look, you can call me out if I'm lying. I can appreciate it, and I understand why someone would feel that passionate, and that shit is contagious. And it's a good reminder that we should definitely have that more on our minds. And it's, like I've mentioned this before, like, to talk about why it is that we're so comfortable ignoring or downplaying or putting to the side Sudan. And I do think there's a lot of that is rooted in anti-blackness, especially with the Eurocentric idea that Africa, that's just how it is. That's just how it is, just violence and chaos all the time. Right? And so you normalize it. You kind of, okay. Which, I mean, means we're losing the psychological battle against colonization. Let me just go through some of these here. I think we're good, right? We're good. We're tapped in. I appreciate y'all. Getting active over here. Let's lock in here. Yeah, kind of corridos tumbados, sure, but Eduardo, and you might not be wrong. I actually haven't looked into it exactly. what the name for that subgenre is in terms of corridos, but I do know, and from hearing interviews, I'm weird. Like even if I'm not a big fan of you, and I'm gonna listen to an interview or two, um, I don't know, to waste time, to not read, to give myself an excuse. Anywho, it's not good. But you could see the influence of trap music and the parallels. Um, that for me are just absolutely fascinating. Uh, California, Southern California is a little different. There's a whole nother scene like in Texas, in Arizona that Texas I get into. I have access. I'm tapped in a little bit, and by a little bit I mean like a fucking pinky nail in. But it's a different beast over there, man. It's a different beast. All right. If there's nothing like going to a red state for union business, which is already weird as fuck to begin with, and seeing like what looks like middle school kids. They're probably like in high school, freshmen maybe, but they look like middle school kids. They look like little kids working, right? Uh, like at restaurants and stuff. It's so jarring and unsettling. You're like, fuck, man. Like, if it's up to them, like the kids are gonna go back into the mines here. It is. It's sad because, like, man, like, have a childhood. Have a childhood. All right. No, I've never been put in that situation where a landlord straight up steals. I don't know how I would react because throughout the years I've dealt with like property neglect in the sense of like, hey, like this wow, I'm struggling. This needs to get fixed, and just dealing with that hassle. Uh and again, because I'm gonna call the fucking pigs, but I'm like, well, I'll call the city of for they could do an inspection, and then having to just do that whole dance, and at times having to get physically separated. I'm a hothead. I'm not proud of it. I don't like it. I think it is immature. And like I don't say it to brag, like, oh, I see red. It's like I lack control of my emotions and I express them in a physical way. And so having to get separated and there be no repercussions because it's not like, oh, you're out of here. It's because like they fucked up. We're to that point. And apparently this needs to happen to get the point across. Like I've been in those situations. I've been in situations where it's kind of like you need to record interactions of payment, just to cover your ass type of stuff. Like, nope, this is happening. Because let's be honest. My first job while in high school, era abajo de la mesa, way. Like, some stuff is all cash, baby, for a reason. So you just want to cover your ass and sometimes just be like, all right, I'm documenting this. And I'm struggling. I am struggling. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Just going through a chat saying what's up to everyone here. What happened in the Remix Morning Show? Oh, they were talking about martial arts, which is dope that I caught that. I caught that specific moment live, but I didn't catch like the follow up to it until after, a little bit after. Like I was catching up. All right. Hmm. Interesting with the Chicago thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm doxing anyone, right? Because we know. What's the homie's name? Shoot. Why am I thinking Paco? Man, is that on Chicago? Chicago's that's somewhere where I really want to go. I want to see the brown people there. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, we've done that, Riley. We've done that. We've been put in situations where we had to just be like, here's the the bill. But the thing is, look, when you're around the landlord, doesn't matter if it's the landlord, doesn't matter what, you always have friends or family members who fix things. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Um, Pancho. Yes, Pancho. I don't know why I was thinking Paco. It's my bad. I'm telling you, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to lock in. Um, I stayed up way too late, and that's why the stream's happening at noon. My apologies. Yeah, Pancho's out in Chicago. So, again, that'd be cool to tap in. I was actually I was looking to see if I could make it out there for his, when he was doing like his book launch. It just it didn't line up. It didn't line up. All right. ZZ, that's funny in the deculturation live chat. That's funny, but it's hilarious because you see you see how people control narrative by you know, little shadow ban going on is cute because there's no way that unhinged individuals avoid bait like that unless you put your finger on the scale. So I think it says a lot. I'll just put it like that. All right. Let's get to it. Before this article, I was trying to read it, and I was trying to learn how to read. I was trying to read this article here referenced by Suzanne, which we adore. The author, the artist, and Mayor Mamdani, right? And I had that. Dude, I have so many tabs on my phone, it's embarrassing. So I have that, and I click and I can't get to it. So I'm like, all right. So I go back to this tweet and I click on it, and then, sorry, this page no longer is here. Use search to help find articles. And so I guess there might have been a backlash to this. I'll never know. It's unfortunate. I did see people respond to it. Yeah, my bad, Pancho. I did say Paco. I was like, why? It's in like, not even the tip of my tongue. I was like trying to decipher it in my head. But Suzanne here says, this is special. Palestinians and Lebanese are gathering pieces of their children in plastic bags, forced by Israel to live in bug and rat-infested tents amidst increasing open sewage and garbage piles, hungry, freezing, sweating, thirsty. Despairing, crippled, amputated, out of school, out of work, out of bread, out of water, degraded and oppressed beyond measure, beyond reason, beyond any human comprehension. But these sons of bitches want to talk about anti-Semitic tropes. They want to analyze Palestinian speech. Oh no. Did I hurt someone's feelings? Did I fail to condemn the thoroughly debunked rape hoax? Did I talk too much about the verified, thoroughly documented, and supported systemic rape of Palestinians by Israelis? Was I not differential enough to Karen the colonizer whose great-grandma survived a Nazi camp? Am I too angry that Israelis are committing a genocide and no power is doing a fucking thing about it? Should I be a more polite victim? Did I scream too loud or cry too much when I saw, over and over, the insides of our children's skulls? Do I dwell too much on my own family shattered to all corners of the globe so every Jew can have an extra country? How dare I? All the masks are off, including the so-called lefty trash folks and outlets that publish them. Wipe it off the map all the way. And I will say, I'm a bit of a coward to not be able to say the hashtag properly. Because YouTube, because Twitch. So my apologies to Susan for not being as brave as she is. We gotta own that shit. We gotta own that shit. But anywho, look how beautiful they look. Golly. Golly gee. To die for, man. To die for. And of course, y'all know I have to do this. I have to do this. Look at this. Y'all ready for this? Bum, 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 bum. Jeez. Just absolute shameless. Shameless, man. Shameless. And of course, you already know. You already know he's going to do it. Where is it at? Hold on. Just por si acaso. Por si acaso. Here we go. Thankfully, we have
the
Democratic Party sheepdog, Hassan Piker, to tell us why this is so vital to achieve socialism in New York City. Thankfully, we have Hassan Piker to tell us why it is that you need to align yourself with a war criminal. Remember, because the initial thing was, oh man, Mamdani's so great. His politics are so genius that he was able to kiss ass to Donald Trump. Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that amazing? The way that he kissed Donald Trump's ass and made him happy? Astonishing. Something to aspire to, right? Wow. Democratic Socialists winning Donald Trump's heart. That's great. That's great. All right, so let's hear why. Mind you, someone who's already in office, not campaigning, already in office, not campaigning, already in office, needs to do this. Let's hear him out.
For Barack Hussein Obama.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, Hussein. Okay, you see both Barack Hussein Obama face a lot of discrimination, just like Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Kwame Mamdani. You see, their names can seem scary to certain whites. So because of that, we have to support them unconditionally. Well, we could be critical of them, but we have to justify why we support them regardless of our criticism. Why, despite whatever criticism we may lay on them, we're still going to show complete devotion to them and the Democratic Party. You got to love it. It is so fucking pathetic to go out of your way to be like, Hussein, don't forget, guys. Don't forget. Like if somehow his middle name is supposed to like remind us of what or tell us what exactly? That he's a radical or what is this emphasis on his middle name? Because the reactionaries, Fox News, the white supremacists, who prioritize white supremacy over the settler colonial empire flourishing, because they prioritize that shit over their white Christian nationalism over their like actual proper functioning of their empire, as well as filling their pockets through corporate greed and control of the state. But still, they played the game. They made a big show out of it. Barack Hussein Obama. Whoo, chilling. So fucking frightening. But now you see here Hassan Piker doing it. To do what exactly? We know the reactionaries of Fox News do it to create some notion of Islamophobia. Not only is he black, but also he has a weird name. Oh God. Oh golly gee. He must be a secret Muslim or whatever Donald Trump was spewing. All that fucking birther nonsense. And so Hassan Piker brings that up in order to remind his audience, hey, remember, the guys we don't like, we're using that, we're weaponizing that against them. They were being racist. To flip the script and be like, so go easy on this guy. So go easy on this guy. Meanwhile, I'm over here saying, hey, if you're opposing reactionaries, if you're opposing Zionists and Zionist collaborators, you don't have to be racist. You don't have to be doing this reactionary fucking shit in order to call them out. Hassan does the actual opposite of saying, hey, no, you don't get it, you don't understand. The reactionaries have been mean to him. So we can't actually be principled with our criticism. Somebody asked, so I'm trying not to ignore the chat, but also not to get distracted. Somebody asked, y'all think Hassan reads? He streams for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. When do you think he has time to read? What I think Hassan has is, other creeps, sexual predators that he surrounds himself with. This is not smears. This is a fact. He's notorious for having male predators in his, circle. I think they give him spark notes. I think that's what it is. Also, that one of the hosts of Blowback, which is a shame because entertaining, some of it's entertaining. I think it's a Noah guy. Let's see. He actually was a colonizer. Like he lived in the Zionist entity. Host. Noah Colwyn. That's what it is. Let's see here. I think somebody should have his tweet, but let me see. Whenever I pull up images, I'm just going to be safe and just... I mean, of course he did, right? Which explains why he's always invited to the Majority Report. Oh, okay, here it is. Found it. His own fucking words, man. All right. So this is another one of Hassan Piker's good friends. And I think this is probably somebody who gives him like spark notes, probably like his tutor. So he doesn't actually have to read himself. Again, 136,000 followers. Look, I didn't even know I was following him. Don't follow that. Never did birthright. Have probably lived in Israel for about 2 years of my life altogether. And everything I said is 100% true. So I don't even know what this debate's about. It's probably Zionist on Zionist violence going on over here. We love to see it. But living in the Zionist entity for 2 years is Astonishing, man. Astonishing. And for people that may say like, hey, he was doing reporting. He was doing reporting. There's countless of Palestinians reporting on the ground. There's a reason why the Zionist entity was assassinating them, why they were targeting them. We don't need some Zionist voice, some liberal Zionist voice. We need to uplift and amplify Palestinian voices. But you like how he brags about, I never did birthright. Oh, okay, cool. So you never lived there, you never went there. Awesome. Good for you. All in all, about 2 years of my life. Nice. Great. Thank you so much.
To do this is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Because it gives credibility to Zoran Mamdani amongst liberals who love him. You have to remember, liberals still love Barack Hussein Obama.
The people organizing Mamdani's campaign, the one that actually secured his victory, weren't liberals. Liberals, right? In this sense. They are, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. They consider themselves democratic socialists. So, why do this? Liberals are going to reelect you. You have the framework, the ground game to win reelection. There was no need for this. You were already winning over liberals. It was already happening. There's nothing but positive coverage of Mamdani. It doesn't matter what bullshit he's pulling with fucking Tish. It doesn't matter. He's already collaborating with Zionists. He's collaborating with liberals. He's been doing that. But to go to this extent is so fucking grotesque and apparent. That's undeniable. And it should have been already for quite some time. I think since, honestly, what was it? Licking boots on Fox News, apologizing to the pigs. What was it? Agreeing that Tish, the Zionist princess, was going to remain as police commissioner. I don't know. You pick, you choose. Marching with the nurses only to have them arrested by the very same rapid response group that he said he was going to disband, or hinted at, coyly suggested, weaseled his way out of, saying he's going to disband. Like, you choose. All those things would have been enough. And Mamdani's like, no, Hassan Piker, I need you to do more. I need you to advocate the unforgivable, the inexcusable, to make sure that you're going to be the face of the Democratic Party. Because that's what they're angling for. For Hassan Piker to be the spokesperson, he kind of already is, for the Democratic Party. To excuse the inexcusable. To justify why he voted for Holocaust Harris in California. Jeez, I mean, his audience doesn't hold him accountable to that. He could do anything, including call the police on his ex as a form of intimidation and abuse, considering she was a sex worker. So, good job. Good job.
Mamdani amongst liberals who love him. You have to remember, liberals still love Barack Hussein Obama. Okay? This is not a bad thing. Barack Obama has been noticeably absent from the national conversation for a minute. He every now and then will chime in with like a tweet here and there. For him to physically lend support. What is this? No, chatters are right. Obama's ratings are actually tanking, dude. People are giving him the Hillary treatment lately, but libs love him and Zoran's loved. No, I think.
I mean, I would have loved to hear the rest of this, but let's try and find it. Fuck it. He's wearing the same fit here. I wonder if anybody, one of his employees that he doesn't have to pay, one of his editors that he doesn't have to pay, already covered this. Let's see. That was 2 months ago. Maybe it was throughout this stream. I don't know what he was wearing.
Welcome to the broad.
I mean, this is just a conversation with him. Oh, here it is.
Obama is hanging out with Zoran. Yeah, I know. They did Wheels on the Bus go round and round. Mayor Zohran Kwame Mamdani and former President Barack Obama.
He does a Kwame thing too. That's fucking pathetic. Because I'm always butchering his name. I try really hard to pronounce things properly because not out of respect, but out of like learning how to fucking speak, which I struggle with. And yet I do this. I don't know why y'all put up with me, but thank you. I appreciate y'all. So I try my best to stay on my toes. Y'all are always roasting me about it, which I appreciate. Like, honestly, like, I love that shit. That is my love language. Roasting each other, talking shit. So thank you. But it also motivates me to be like, all right, let me try harder. Let me, be better on the mic. But he's doing this shit to kind of like, again, flip the script. To do the reverse, which, I mean, I didn't even know existed, of what the reactionaries do with, Hussein and then Kwame over here.
Are at a child care center in the Bronx reading a book to the preschoolers. Here they are singing Wheels on the Bus. A second Muslim, a second African Muslim communist has hit the preschoolers.
I'm telling y'all, if he was funny, I'd be at least willing to like put him in the background. If he was funny, at least. But he's never had to be humorous. Especially if you believe that comedy comes from, pain plus time, that type of nonsense. All right, fine. But because he's been catered to his whole life. He's been catered to his whole life. Everything has been handed to him. He doesn't know pain. He doesn't understand any of that shit. So like, just don't try to be funny or be funny. I don't know what to tell you. And I try to be as honest as possible. Emma Vigeland, who is a disgusting individual who accused me of being anti-Semitic, and her Jewish boss, Sam Cedar, shot her down, which glorious moment. It's right here for y'all, actually.
You say we. Who are you referring to when you're talking about Sam, huh?
Well, I don't
Settlers, Europeans.
Hold on.
You're talking about white people, or are you talking about Jewish people?
No.
So, with that in mind, she actually got a great roast on Sam Cedar a while back. I didn't save, I didn't record, it wasn't worth it. But Sam, for whatever reason, because he's an intellectual, is obsessed with Survivor. And so they were talking about like the 25th anniversary of Survivor or some shit like that. I don't know what it was. And I think Sam said something like, oh yeah, like, damn, that show started during my first marriage or something like that. I can't believe I've been watching it longer than my first marriage, or longer than I was married. And then Emma says something along the lines of, well, it was probably more satisfying to watch than what your marriage was, or something along those lines. It was like out of left field, just completely out of nowhere, blindside Sam Cedar. And it was so fucking funny. Like in the moment, you're just like, yo, whoa. Like, I love it. Yes, please, more of that. It's something that I'm sure, I don't think Michael Brooks would have said exactly that, but you were more used to Michael Brooks jumping in and just roasting the shit out of Sam. And it was great. People want to tune in to listen to fucking, the host and co-host go back and forth. And it was so brutal. And she was dying. She was red. She's like, but then what ruined it is she laughed a little too long, but it was kind of like I fucked up laugh. It wasn't like laughing at them, at Sam. And then she kept apologizing. It's just like, I hate that, bro. Because it's kind of like, it felt like two things. One, oh shit, you're my boss and I just spoke to you that way, which is like, girl, fucking spine, you're the co-host. Two, it really felt like, oh, please don't swing back. Please don't swing back. And it's just like, no, like, laugh at it, let her breathe, and then move on. And wait for yours. And wait for yours. And then you bounce it back and forth. What are you doing, bro? Like, I don't understand how somebody has this great moment of comedic timing and just from a fucking the blandest piece of fucking white bread imaginable and just completely shits on her own moment. It shits on her own moment. I mean, it's the whole, you know, that she grew up with Seinfeld. You walk out. I mean, you can't leave the show, but like, you know, you walk out of that conversation as a victor. You go home. But yeah, I mean, again, I could credit people that I don't like that are funny. I can credit people that I don't like that are funny. But yeah. All right.
Donnie went from hanging out with you to Obama. Well, I mean, he hung out with Donald Trump too. So
yeah, and you all collectively work against the colonized proletariat. You all work for the same fucking system. Different degrees, but you all serve the same fucking master. U.S. settler colonial empire, capital, baby. You know Hassan would fucking... If he went to a Diddy party, which he admitted to go, he admitted that he went to a Diddy party and there was an image of what appeared to be an underage girl on video dancing at that party. So Hassan Piker has literally gone to a Diddy party. If he went to that, you don't think he's gonna go hang out with Obama and Trump and whatever fucking Epstein Island 2.0 is? The fuck out of here, man. If he was willing to go and be a sex tourist and brag about it, I mean, you're giving this person way too much credit if you disagree.
Oh God, we know what happened. But I mean, he hung out with Donald Trump too. So, oh God, we know what happened.
Bruh. Remember, this is someone who was raised in Turkey, went to school like what in fucking Florida or some shit, and didn't arrive to LA until he was a grown ass fucking adult. And somehow he has a fucking California accent, bro. Oh my gosh, I took the 605 to the 110. Oh, that shit was packed, bro. The 5 was crazy this morning. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Why do they have to pretend about everything?
The last time a president read a book to a bunch of preschoolers. Why don't you read books like this to us, Hasanabi? Because I'm fake.
All right, let's move on. Because goddamn, bro.
More corporate friendly, finally making a decision to scared. Yeah, I don't think this is I don't think this is like Obama that is like demanding that Zoran become more corporate friendly. And instead it is Obama reading the room and finally making a decision to lend more liberal credibility to someone like Zoran. Even though liberals already love Zoran, it's still good. Yeah, the who's going to pay for all this healthcare libs that need to see this kind of stuff.
I mean, the way these people contradict themselves. Well, they already love him, but they can love him a lot more with Obama. The fuck is happening outside, man? Hold on, y'all. What the fuck is happening out there? Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I don't know why these dudes are barking so much. It was just the fucking mailman. It was just, that's it. All the chaos, all the ruckus. We're a fucking mailman. And I told him, like, bro, like, stop being a cliche. Bargain at the mailman. What's next? You're gonna go pee on a fire hydrant. Wow. So fucking original. Bro, I can't. Why did I get a hacked dog? You know what I mean? No new material. Unoriginal. And even sometimes, like, okay, some good takes, but it's like, you kind of know we got it from somewhere else. You don't know who yet. But you're like, oh, I'm gonna see something online on social media and be like, this was just bit somebody's joke. But to be honest, kind of reminds me more of a cat than anything. I said it. All right. Yeah, that's rough, pal. All right. He's actually pretty great. He really won't bark. Just he has. And then we don't have a regular mailman. We used to for a while. But I don't know why we don't. So anywho. All right. Let's hear this great excuse of why Mamdani needed to align himself even further with the established Democratic Party.
Actually influencing Zoran is a pure good. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Influencing Zoran, absolutely vital for the neoliberal Gen Xers getting on board nationwide. As long as Obama isn't actually influencing Zoran as a pure good. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Obama is going to influence Zoran.
Obama literally called Zoran Mamdani while he was campaigning. Do you think this is the first fucking time they met or had a conversation? Obama literally, we went over the article. Obama calls Mamdani during like campaign or something like that. God damn, bro. He expects, here it is. Is it this one? Former President Barack Obama told Zoran Mamdani, your campaign has been impressive to watch, and suggested that he was invested in Mr. Mamdani's success beyond the election. How stupid, mind you, 7 days a week for 8 hours covering the news. How fucking stupid does he expect his audience to be not to remember this? What the, like, and this is supposed to be his guy. Nothing like your homie not allowing you in the VIP section. Again. From all, 5 months. Obama calls Mamdani and offers to be sounding board if he wins mayoral race. MSN Now. Why I'm not surprised Obama called Zoran Mamdani. August 2025. Bro, what the fuck? He clearly is manipulating that guy.
But we'll see. I see this as a very positive sign, though. Perhaps I'm too optimistic, but I see this as a very positive sign. You have the king of liberals, okay? The real king.
It's not that you're too optimistic. is that your career trajectory depends on you aligning with the Democratic Party. Because the moment that you actually start pushing back against them, the moment you start advocating for a vanguard party, the moment you give space and legitimacy to third parties that are to the left of the Democratic Party, which you refuse to do, you have smeared the Green Party, whatever criticism, talk shit. But if you're talking shit and voting Democrat, what are you doing? You refuse to platform the PSL. Again, we have our criticism, but they are objectively to the left of the Democratic Party. But you will go to their rallies, so you can have an in-person crowd adore you. And of course, you won't even prepare a speech, because why the fuck would you do any work when everything's been handed to you, right? The moment he grows a spine and actually not criticizes, but works against the Democratic Party, he's going to lose access to having all those politicians coming over to his place. That's what it is. And you think somebody that rich, why would he need the Democratic Party? It's not about money, bro. He grew up with money. He grew up expecting to be rich because he was born rich. No. It's about clout and status. He wants to make sure that next time around, he is allowed to go into Mamdani's VIP section. That's what he's working towards. You gotta understand, me and you, us fucking brokies, us fucking working class stiffs, we don't even understand, what they're like so desperate for. We can't comprehend the fucking hole in their essence that they need to fill with recognition. These are sick, broken people. These are sick, broken people. And that's why they're able to lie to you day in and day out. They know better. They fucking know better. And they don't care. Fuck, man. Again, I don't want Hassan Piker's audience. I don't want to be anywhere around people that gullible and that fucking stupid. Because that's what they are. And these are the most self-righteous finger-wagging individuals you'll have. And it's sick. It really is, because the people that he hates the most, and this is how you know Anna Kasparian was right, the people he hates the most and he calls out and gives like temporary bans are like 55-month subscribers that are like paying him for years. It is fucking grotesque. It is grotesque. Something legitimately wrong with these individuals. Hassan Piker's awful, but to fall for this shit as an adult. But look, a lot of people like to say that he earns his money, his millions, through like ethical means because it's donations. And it's like, bro, that's like saying like a evangelical pastor is ethical. No, it's unethical to sell desperate people, gullible people, impressionable people wolf tickets. But at least an evangelical pastor can pull out the Bible and give you exact fucking quotes to justify his bullshit, his grift, his opportunism. He give you quotes from the Bible to justify what he's saying without needing to twist words too much. Hassan Piker will pull up Lenin and advocate for the exact opposite that Lenin wrote. Make that shit make sense. Who's worse? The evangelical pastor might be correct. He might be right. Maybe his way is the way to fucking eternal peace and heaven. There is a non-zero chance that maybe. We don't know. We don't fucking know what's waiting for us. I'm an atheist. I'm hoping nothing. I'm hoping a permanent vacation where I stress about nothing because there is nothing. What does that say about my mental health? I don't want to talk about it. But we know for a fact that the Democratic Party is never going to do right by us. We know for a fact that the Democratic Party is always going to be beholden to capital, that they're always going to push for the U.S. settler empire. There is no fixing that. So it's not ethical. He is quite literally worse than an evangelical pastor. That's what it is. He's just missing the fucking private jet.
The actual undisputed king of liberalism Barack Obama saying, that's my guy. This guy Zoran, that's my guy.
Why the fuck would you want that blessing? Why the fuck would you want that blessing? It's like colonized people or descendants of them that get knighted by the queen or now the king, right? I would see that and they're like, it's sir, it's sir, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, are you kneeled before this person that destroyed your home country, that slaughtered your family members, that stripped you of your language? You're kneeling before them and you're bragging about being served whatever the fuck? It's astonishing. And for the record, Idris Elba is such an amazing fucking actor. I mean, did kickboxing when he didn't have to, like, just absurdly. Like, I'm a fucking fan, right, of his craft. But it's embarrassing, bro. It's fucking embarrassing. And there's countless like him. I don't get it. But here you have a Piker saying, no, it's good that the king of liberals has knighted Zoran Mamdani as his what? As the future of the Democratic Party? You think he would knight somebody? And this is the funny thing. Like, he's saying, oh yeah, Obama's never really out here. It's I mean, maybe he's, got his finger on and feels where the wind is blowing. Who fucking knows? Maybe he sees something he's forced to recognize. Sorry, why am I doing that voice? He's forced to recognize that that Mamdani is the future. That me and Mamdani are great. We're leading the Democratic Party, right? And it's like, do you think Obama? I mean, look, and this is how you know this. Even in their own little fucking world, it doesn't make sense. Obama came out to gather the Democratic Party against the Zionist himself, Bernie Sanders, right? That's what all these fucking Democratic Socialists, aka National Socialists, are still whining about. They cheated Bernie a second time. No, they cheated him the first time by bending the rules, by breaking the rules, if we're being honest. The second time was just politics. Obama stepped in, put his finger on the scale. All is fair in politics. That's politics, normal. No rules were broken. Right? So he came in and said, hey, let's all get together, support Joe Biden, and fuck over the Zionist Bernie Sanders. Everyone's Zionist there. They don't care about that. So if he did that to stop Bernie Sanders, why the fuck do you think he was on the phone with Zoran Mamdani? Why the fuck do you think he's here with Mamdani, giving him his fucking cosign, his blessing? If Mamdani was a threat to the establishment, to the Democratic Party. You see what I'm saying? I'm not an intelligent person. I'm not well read enough. I certainly lack a lot of knowledge. But it's just very basic stuff. If Obama came in to stop, according to Democratic Socialists, to stop Bernie from winning the Democratic Party nomination, he gathered everyone around Joe Biden and pushed that forward. They're still crying about it, right? Because Bernie was such a fucking threat. What does it say that Obama is out here supporting before he won and now while he's in office? Zoran Mamdani. What does it tell you? That he's not a fucking threat. Not even to the limited degree that Bernie Sanders was a threat. Not even to the limited degree, because he wasn't, but okay. He was going to make the capitalist class upset. Again, this isn't complicated. This isn't hard. This is just looking at the fucking board. And this is why we have to recognize the Soundpiker as a counterinsurgent propagandist. We have to treat him like our enemy because that's what he is. He is a spokesperson, a propagandist for the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party that carries out genocides of Palestinians. And a Soundpiker will use the death, the massacre, the ethnic cleansing, the genocide of Palestinians as a shield for any criticism directed at him. That's how disgusting this individual truly is. We have to despise them. We have to hate them. And this is the process of viewing liberals as our enemies. Because we get too complacent, especially when reactionary, rabid fascists are in office. And so we seek comfort within a safer or seemingly safer opponent, the lesser of two evils within the Democratic Party. But that idea alone already makes you put down your guard. Already be like, okay, this is more manageable. All right, we could take a breath. No, we fucking can't. That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they're there for. To make you think that you got some room to fucking breathe. Do me a favor, y'all. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Join the Patreon. $2 gets you access to the Discord. We keep all the receipts there. You have a good time. Great articles being shared. Great book suggestions. Some music stuff there as well. A little bit of everything for everyone. Super chat and super stickers are turned on. Support the channel if you can. Memberships are turned on. I need to do better on that. Well, I'll get to it. All right. I think we're done with this. We wasted way too much time on this. Where are we at? Yeah, an hour 15. All right, let's lock in. I mean, I hadn't seen this, so this was a great little aside. I tell you, it's not difícil. Like, it is brutal for me to listen to Hassan Piker because he's so fucking stupid and unentertaining. If you were entertaining, at least it'd be somewhat like, all right, cool. I've said this before, and I don't recommend it anymore. Check out Hutch. He's a weirdo, but at least there's nothing like, there's no charges against him right now that we know of. But I used to tell people, hey, if you want to know what liberals are yapping about, their next argument, the next way that they're constructing their narrative, check out what Destiny is doing. And you'll get a good fucking feel. You'll be able to feel the temperature of what liberals are up to, right? I don't say that anymore because he's a fuck. I mean, he's been outed as a creep, to say the least, right? So now I say, if you're gonna do that, try Hutch. But it's such a step down in terms of somebody that can actually argue their positions and can articulate, you know, their propaganda and the agenda of where the Democratic Party should go and how they should like operate. Again, Destiny is still not anything to fucking admire ever, but at the least you're going to get somebody who is able to argue their positions. Somebody's going to do the reading bias in their favor, right? Hassan doesn't even fucking do that, bro. I don't understand why people watch him. Like, I don't find any form of entertainment. I've tried. Way before the stream, I've tried. And I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? I don't. No comprendo. No comprendo, amigo. I just don't fucking get it. It is astonishing. All right. How we doing, chat? Someone in main chat wants to know if you have a source for the Hassan Diddy party thing, I think. Yeah. He talked about himself. Always with the receipts. I appreciate that. Keeping me honest.
What?
So again, this is him asking to be part of these parties.
What? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What do you... Are you denying going to a Diddy party? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What are you talking about? Think.
I haven't seen this. I don't know whose channels this is. The first thing that popped up.
I walked into this like back like sphere Epcot looking thing in the back of like the house that P. Diddy was renting for his and was throwing after parties at Coachella, and they were playing like these crazy like these crazy things for people who are high. Not me, of course. I had only eaten portobello mushrooms.
Because, you know, he still does this weird thing where he pretends to be Muslim to weaponize it against criticism. It's fucking gross. It's really fucking gross. But all right.
And one of the images that they were playing was like this little girl, this like supposedly attractive, very young girl.
Bro, if you see an image like that and you recognize that that's a fucking child, you walk the fuck out, at least, at the minimum. You walk away. What do you mean by supposedly attractive? What the fuck does that even mean? Supposedly attractive. That's fucking weird.
At Coachella, and they were playing like these crazy things for people who are high. Not me, of course. I had only eaten portobello mushrooms. And one of the images that they were playing was like this little girl, this like supposedly attractive, very young girl, like opening up a Christmas gift.
Yeah, I mean, again,
are you denying going to a Diddy party? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What are you talking about? Think. Happened. Are you denying going to a Diddy party? What? Are you denying going to a Diddy party? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What are you talking about? Think.
Imagine adopting Seth Rogen's laugh as a grown-ass man. It's so fucking performative. Everything he does is just fake. It's just a facade. And you almost feel sorry for him because you're like, you're not your own person, bro. You're a multimillionaire that streams 8 hours, 8 days a week because you need the fucking attention. You don't need the money anymore. You need the attention. You need the praise. You're addicted to being online. You're addicted to being seen. You have no talent. Whenever he does actually put work into something or what he thinks is work, it's fucking hot garbage. It's hot fucking garbage, bro. It's bro tips. Anywho. Yeah. So always lying. That's the thing I don't understand by people that support him. Yeah, Coachella, I guess Diddy had his own private tent where he was like showcasing images of what Hassan is saying is attractive underage girls. It's fucking weird. Oh, sorry, supposedly. Okay, bro. What the fuck do you even say to that? These people are sick. I don't fucking get it, man. Like, I don't know how people just kind of like dismiss that. Mind you, Artemis, the brothel that he visited when he was a sex tourist, that he brags about, has been caught up for having underage girls working there. I mean, what the fuck do you say to these people? Man. All right. Yeah, Destiny's a creep, bro. All right. No, Sheriff. I don't know if I clarify, Sheriff, but Diddy had a tent to have a personal party at Coachella. We're brokey, so we don't get that lifestyle. But there's parties within parties, I guess. But yeah. I actually don't fault. I don't fault people. You know, I mean, okay, it's weird to say, but like, I don't fault people for basically having like gender affirming care or, you know, paying to look better, to feel better. I don't judge that because I think it's a reflection of like the society that we're in and just the desperate need to conform and to appeal visually to people. Like I'm sympathetic to that in the sense that like I mean, I prefer working out, you know, like I'd rather work out. You feel good. The endorphins are great. You look better, all that stuff. You see the work. All right, cool. Um, but you know, I know individuals that are overweight and who are unhappy with that and have worked out, put in the work, and just the weight isn't coming off. So they get like on Ozempic or something like that, right? And it's like I don't judge that. Like I don't belittle it because that part of I mean that part está difícil in the sense of like, you know, people are hurting and I don't know, like the physical traits that we have that we might not be able to fix or most of us can't afford to. Like if somebody can or finally is able to and they do it, then I'm like, all right, I hope you feel better about yourself. I very much hope that you don't judge people or you don't like belittle others that can't afford to do what you did. The only downside of it is that as people kind of encourage that, the people who can't afford to do so are looked down upon and kind of feel worse about themselves. Not kind of, they do. They feel worse about themselves. So it does kind of reproduce um, this virus of constant feeling of inadequacy, right? And I said this before, like love yourself. Love yourself because you are you. You are you. The good and the bad and the ugly. You are you. There is no one like you. Don't like throw that away. Don't underappreciate that you are a unique individual and embrace that uniqueness. Don't conform. Embrace it. Don't be fucking boring. For what? You got, for all we know, you got one shot. Enjoy it. Love yourself. You're the only one that we got. You are the only you that we got. All right. Remember that. Embrace it. I get it. You know, we're encouraged to look a certain way, to do a certain thing, to talk a certain way, what have you. There's all these expectations of us, and it varies depending on all types of variables. So there might be harder expectations than others. I get that. And I might not know what you're going through. I might not have gone through those struggles, but man, like nobody's experiencing the world the way that you are, right? Nobody's experiencing the world the way that you are. And no one can share the perspective that you have gained like you, right? So make your voice heard. Let the world know that you exist in whatever way that is, whether it is creating art or it's being nice to a fucking stranger whose day you can make better. You know, there's the little fucking things that like you don't expect to like uplift people and just help them push through their hard day, right? I'm naturally a fucking asshole. I really am. And so I do my best to be kind first, to push that forward. And then if you like me and I like you, I hope you like the way I talk shit because that's the way I express my love. But I always joke around, like I tell, you know, the guy coworkers that I have, union brothers, like I always say it. And now I hear it back every once in a while, like, hey, guapo, right? Because we don't get told that we're handsome and shit like that, all right? Homie's got a fresh cut. You tell him, oh, bro, you look good, dog. Looking fresh. You try not to smack him in the back of the head, you know? You just brighten their day up. Notice that shit. All right. Oh, you got new glasses. You got new shoes. Whatever the fuck it is, you know? Acknowledge people. Recognize them. Because you know damn fucking well it feels nice when people acknowledge you and recognize you. You know? All right. All right, you fucking softies. All right. I prefer ugly people. We have a better sense of humor. Yeah, you can. All right. Let's get to it. We are having too much fun. I didn't want to read English. Está difícil. All right. Yeah, although I will say, guys, men, you know, there's ways of not coming off like a creep. I didn't realize how fucking glorified an incel can be on the so-called left, but not astonishing because white men can get away with anything. Um, a tip. If you want to compliment someone and not appear creepy, and by someone I mean like a woman, femmes, non-binary individuals. It's not. Look, I get it because but this is for disarming purposes, not for gendered purpose. Dude, start off with dude, right? I picked up an acai bowl and there was somebody with beautiful long curly hair, like fucking down their back, right? And just curls perfect. I need to know she's working, I'm sure. Dudes flirt and hit on her all the time. That's not what I'm trying to convey, and that's not what I'm trying to do. In fact, one of the things that makes me most uncomfortable is when men hit on women while they're working. I've never understood it. Bro, she's got to be nice to you. She's on the clock. Like, what? Like, it's... Anywho. I don't get it. Anywho. It's weird. It's gross. It's creepy. Like, you know where they work at. It's already... Everything's off. Anyways. So I'm like, dude, your hair looks fucking awesome. Right? That was literally me giving him a compliment. Right? Understanding that I don't want to come off like a creep. That is not my objective. And so just be aware. Be aware. You know? It's just... Don't be weird and creepy. Try not to be weird and creepy. So yeah, just a little tip there, because damn, bro, like some fools have no fucking social awareness. Orpheus online. I don't know much about Hutch's positions, but I thought he was really friendly with Destiny. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's like a watered down version of Destiny. Like, you're still gonna kind of hear what a liberal is thinking or what they're pushing or what they're focused on. Again, live and learn. There you go. Something that if you want to tap in, I think it's important. I think it's important to I kind of messed up my algorithm on X, and like I've been getting a lot of suggestions of Nick Fuentes. And again, for me, it's just analyzing and breaking down the narrative that he's constructing and what he's pushing. And I'm like, all right, for what ends? Nick Fuentes at least is more of a character than somebody like who I've always found boring, Tucker Carlson. Always found him boring. So I don't really tap into what he's pitching. Alex Jones is a complete waste of time, because while he is a character and it can be entertaining, it's just there's so much fluff and bullshit to get through to kind of get a vibe for what reactionaries are feeling. I was way too young to listen to Rush Limbaugh, although I think that would have been a positive like a positive thing to tap in and know what these people are saying and thinking. Actually, I just listened to a conversation with Sam Cedar and some channel I had never heard about, and they were talking about just media in general. And I thought it was an actually decent conversation, mainly because that is Sam Cedar's forte. You're not really talking politics in a sense, or talking about the media around politics. And I think that we may disagree, but at least, I don't know, not the gap is not as wide, right? I think he lacks self-awareness for sure in his role in media for the Democratic Party, or at least tries to deny it. But I thought it was a decent conversation. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a hater, but I try to be honest. It was a decent conversation. And one thing that he said that made me chuckle was that he's like, no one has listened to Rush Limbaugh more than I have. And it just reminded me that I get asked sometimes like, oh, who do you listen to? Who do you recommend? I'm like, bro, I listen to people I don't like. I listen to people who I that will get me fired up, that will annoy me. So, with that being said, for a while, until fucking David came along, I was like, dude, I've listened to so much of the Majority Report, and that's what made me despise them because I realized like what they were saying, and I noticed the patterns. But yeah, Hutch is very much a watered down version of Destiny. Like I said, it's painful sometimes how he's unable to articulate himself in his positions and defend them. He's very vibe based. I don't know. I think he's overrated individual. But yeah, Live and Learn will give you a little bit more of that without having to keep up with one specific liberal content creator. All right. In my youth, I read a few Limbaugh books. Very uncomfortable, but I learned white supremacist talking points. He was a king, man. He was the king of it. Like, again, certain things, because I'm not as old as Sam Cedar. He's ancient, has accomplished essentially nothing with his life. But he was saying that, like, pointing out things that I wasn't around for. But politicians were, like, kissing ass to Rush Limbaugh at his prime. Because that's how powerful he was on the mic. That's important to know. Yes, dude is very gendered. Bro is very gendered, 100%. I mean, Southern California, it's kind of always there, regardless of whatever subculture you're in. But again, the reason why is like you're immediately let them know, like, hey, I'm not angling to get your number, your Instagram, your information, what have you. Like, it's very kind of like, all right, I'm seeing you as a person, and unfortunately to make that clear, you need to kind of immediately do the friend zone thing of like, bro, dude, you know, dab me up, you know. I don't want you out here asking for a hug. Dab the homegirl up, you know. All right. Yeah, because if I would have been like, your hair is so nice, like, well, you know, this and that, like just giving that compliment, it's gonna be like, oh, you're trying to hit on me or whatever. Dude is not gendered in the West Coast. It's gendered, but it's so broadly used and so fucking thrown around so much that it feels that way. Yes, Linguistic. That's exactly where I was going. That's exactly where. Yep, 100%. To be a person, you must be a man. 100%. 100%. Yep. It's not right. It's wrong. It's sad. But I don't know what to tell you. It ain't right. But I'm saying to not look like a creep, and to let a woman know that, hey, I'm not trying anything. I'm not trying to be smooth here. Essentially, what it is I am communicating to you and seeing you in a non-sexual manner. That's what it is. And dude, bro, is a very quick and efficient way of doing that, at least over here in the West Coast. But yes. Well, compliment the fit, not the form. I kind of get that, but when it's something like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like intrinsic to them, or I don't know. That's the problem, but that is part of their body, their being. It's not like I'm complimenting. Oh, that's a cool hat, right? Saying girl also works. Yeah, it's true. But then it's how you deliver the girl that gets a little complicated, gets a little tricky, right? Yeah. But also, like, I had my hair down. So like my hair's down, that makes it easier too, where my hair's, I'm like, dude, your hair looks amazing, you know. I'm not fishing for compliments, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, he has long hair, has to deal with this shit too. May have some experience in trying to get like the right products or whatnot. So that kind of helps to where I don't have to emphasize the dude or the bro, what have you. I see, that makes sense. I've learned more as I listen to how manipulative people like Sam can be because he's been in the game for so long. Yeah, 2 decades of nothing. That's a respect. A respect will do that too. But see, like the damn, again, how you deliver it off the bat. But what are we doing? What are we workshopping over here, bro? I don't need any of this advice. I'm very much good. Yeah. All right, yeah, David Barnes, you're right. We have a long article to read. Yeah, we have. Okay. Actually, okay, it's short and sweet. We're gonna fucking battle through this. This is Black Agenda Report by Margaret Kimberly, Bar Executive Editor and Senior Columnist. Trump, Jesus, and White Supremacy. Donald Trump's downward spiral has become more evident in recent weeks. His behavior substantiates his evidence. His behavior substantiates the evidence provided by medical experts that he suffers from both dementia and a serious personality disorder. Okay, so, all right, off the bat, by medical experts. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like diagnosing somebody, and I'm sure there's some credibility to it, but I'm not a big fan of diagnosing somebody who isn't your patient. I'm not a big fan of lending credence to diagnosing someone on camera, on screen, or from a distance. I'm sure there's certain indicators that professional that has devoted their life to it, who's an expert, all these things can see and pick up almost immediately. Sure. But again, I don't want to lend too much credence to that. That's not, it makes me uncomfortable, right? But okay. Beginning on the evening of April 12th, he posted all night on his True Social platform on various obsessions, including his ballroom, Joe Biden, and the Strait of Hormuz. Those comments have since been forgotten because of his 334-word tirade directed at Pope Leo. I don't even know if I ain't even gonna get to that. For being weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, an associate of Obama sympathizers, who is also catering to the radical left. He felt compelled to add he wasn't on any list to be Pope and was only put there by the church because he was an American. And though they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald Trump. Actually, I mean, that last part, I don't know if he was on a list or not. Probably was the wrong type of list. But you know what? I mean, I think he was only put there by the church because he was an American. And they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. I mean, talking in third person always annoying, but yeah, I don't know. That's that might be a little bit. There might be some truth to that. Just 45 minutes after indulging in grandiosity and disparaging a respected religious figure, Trump then posted an image of himself as a figure who appeared to be Jesus Christ healing a sick man, as if to say that he is greater. As if to say that he has greater spiritual power than the head of the Catholic Church. I would love to see them kind of do a face-off. Like, let's bring somebody in that has leprosy and see who can heal them first. Maybe drop them in the middle of the ocean to see who can walk home. You know, little things like that. That, like, they might be able to have demonstrate a stronger spiritual connection or, you know, religious capabilities, I guess. I wouldn't be opposed to it, is what I'm saying. The Vatican. So where are we? Okay. The seeming nonsense was all vintage Trump. His anger and pettiness directed at someone who dared to publicly express opposition to him and his policies. The Vatican had been a target of Trump's ire for some time, and recent media reports revealed that in January, a Pentagon official summoned the Vatican's ambassador to a meeting to tell him that the Pope's comments on war and peace were not appreciated by the White House. The Pope had expressed concern that war is back in vogue and condemned using weapons as a condition for asserting one's own dominion. After Trump's Easter Sunday threat to any Iranian civilization, Pope Leo had words of his own. Quote, enough of the idolatry of self and money, enough of the display of power, enough of war. So brave. Yeah, a heel off would be awesome. The ensuing hilarity about Trump depicting himself as Jesus and the endless meme creation of Trump's expense are quite entertaining, but the opportunity for grim amusement should not mask some very serious truth about the United States and the white supremacy that Trump represents and cultivates. I don't know if Margaret Kimberly knows that white supremacy doesn't exist. It's American supremacy. So if somebody wants to email Bar in general to let them know to just, we got to switch all that out. Right-wing influencer Nick Adam, who serves as a special presidential envoy for American tourism, exceptionalism, and values, first, the fuck, first, okay, yeah, that's a, imagine that fucking title on your desk. First posted a version of the Trump as Christ image on the X platform on February 2026 and wrote, "America has been sick for a long time. President Trump is healing this nation." The image and the words may seem unimportant, but we should look closely before dismissing what appears to be mere silliness at first glance. The image depicts Trump healing a bedridden white man who is surrounded by other white people. Oh, brother, the identity politics, am I right? All right, sorry. A nurse, a soldier, and an anonymous praying woman with bald eagles and fighter jets flying overhead, along with winged figures that appear to be soldiers. With a Lincoln Memorial Capitol building, the Statue of Liberty in the background, as a huge American flag flies in the breeze. Trump is dressed in ancient robes, and both of his hands are glowing as he lays them on the sick man, while the figures surrounding him look in awe and prayer. It's a pretty solid depiction. Here it is in case y'all forgot. All right. The image evokes an 1872 painting, American Progress, as a paean to the concept of manifest destiny, which depicts a blonde white woman floating above the country, bringing light and technology from the east to the west as white farmers till the soil and indigenous people and buffaloes and other wild animals flee the invasion. Kishi art can make a statement which is especially easy when one considers the manifest destiny and white supremacy are in fact this country's official belief system. Again, I thought it was American supremacy. My bad. Okay. All right. Apparently it's larger than that. It's crazy how white people aren't willing to admit that, but okay. In fact, no one needs to guess about the connection. In a July 2025 post on the X platform, the Department of Homeland Security posted American Progress and these words, quote, "a heritage to be proud of, a homeland worth defending." Can I have another take? I'm sorry. Can we do that from the top? Okay. I'm kind of playing with the character a little bit here, and I want to make sure that I'm telling a story with the language and the exposition really here. Okay, let's try. Okay, my boss. Sorry. Just one quick minute. Okay. I'm ready. Take two. A heritage to be proud of, a homeland worth defending. Better? All right, better. I do want to see this though. This is classic. Actually, I hate how good this quality is because I was gonna say this looks nice. I'm always used to seeing like a grainy picture of this kind of extracted from like a fucking textbook, right? All right. Actually, I might save this because I've used this image before, but I've never seen one with such good quality. Interesting. All right. While there is an excess of religiosity in the United States, there is very little care for individuals or for the larger community. Politicians like Trump win elective office by promising austerity and cutting services and benefits that millions of people need. The progress that is worshipped here is antithetical to the idea of care and concern for humanity. Pope Leo's criticism of war and his support for vulnerable people, like the global South immigrants caught in Trump's mass deportations, and his concern for the millions of Iranians living under the threat presented by U.S. militarism, makes him an enemy to be scorned and mocked. The Pope did not just criticize Trump personally, His words called into question the entire mythology of US goodness and the very idea of exceptionalism that allows Trump and other presidents to be admired even as they commit terrible acts. I mean, we just watched Hassan Piker admire and glorify Obama. Of course, the Catholic Church has historically been a tool of conquest, imperialism, and supremacy. Trump's unhinged remarks have made any institution look good. Oh, okay, I get what they're saying now. And I understand this. I was like, wait, what did he make look good? Trump's unhinged remarks have made any institution look good and present themselves as being progressive even when they are not. In other words, in comparison to, yeah, my bad. In this case, being the fucking Catholic Church of all of all places. We're Team Catholic Church. I told y'all. Ooh, where the fuck did I leave that? I think it's in my car. Anywho, I'll debut it some other day, but this would have been perfect. But please remember, this is a pro-Catholic stream channel. Do not forget. All right. I don't want any mix-up around here. Yeah. Where are we at? Okay. It is interesting that Trump altered the original image and turned the central soldier/angel figure into what appears to be a demon. It is tempting to know what goes on in Trump's brain, but we are left to guess that the white people needing his healing also see themselves as fighting evil. Then again, perhaps he just likes demons. But who can know what fever dreams inspire Trump as he obsesses over how best to threaten Iran or to take the Pope to task? I mean, what the fuck? Wait, originally it was different. Yeah, I see the demon here. Literally a crown, or maybe there's a crown of thorns going on. Because when they reference the original post. Oh shit. Hey, this motherfucker's legit the Antichrist, huh? What the fuck? I didn't see the original. I saw the one Trump posted. I assume he just... So he went in there and altered that shit. Because you would assume he just fucking downloaded or screen grabbed that. Screenshot it. And that's the only thing that changed between them? That's fucking hilarious. God damn, bro. Because who was it? Was it Nick Fuentes or Tucker that was like, yeah, this is what the Antichrist would do? That's fucking funny, man. Trump claimed that he saw himself as a doctor in the depiction and not Jesus, but there was enough outcry that the post was removed from Truth Social. Fucking cancel culture, bro. I can't stand it. Freedom of speech, brother. Although his devout MAGA base probably didn't care about the brouhaha at all, there are millions of people who consider themselves religious, yet who are also staunch Trump supporters. Evangelicals who are quick to make declarations of religious piety, or is it piety, are strangely silent about their love of a man like Donald Trump. They don't care that he posts a blasphemous image or that he has been married 3 times or that his current wife was a nude model who he cheated on with a porn star. They don't care that he is an They don't care that he is an adjudicated rapist, having lost a multi-million civil suit to a woman who testified that he sexually assaulted her. None of those things matter because Trump is seen as the man who will take care of the white people. He will heal them with militarism, patriotism, and racism too. Honestly, look, I didn't want to say it. I always thought the food pyramid, excuse me. I felt that was that good itch right there. The food pyramid needed a little bit fixing. I know we had the plate for a while. I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I think that was Michelle Obama, but all right. I'm not gonna blame her. I do like the idea of this though. I think that if you take your daily militarism, your daily patriotism, and of course, essential to any day, your racism too, I think you'll be healed. I think this nation will be healed. I think we could be great. Once again, the symbols of the US government are symbols of the power they hope will protect them. And if the law won't protect them, then an angel soldier and fighter jets will. It isn't hard to figure out why Trump loved this image so much and displayed it after lambasting a religious leader who called his policies and US myth making into question. The Trump as Christ image is white supremacy imagery. Yeah. And it's hot garbage. Trump is not known for deep thinking or wide knowledge, but he succeeds politically because he knows his people. They are of the same mind. He is Jesus-like to them, a savior. Some of them may openly express white supremacist doctrine, others are undercover and hide that ideology. Even his Catholic supporters may not be pleased by the Jesus depiction, but it is unlikely they will abandon him now. He can't count on white support from most white people because he has said he will heal them, and they believe that he will. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen in the chat, please? Do me a favor, y'all. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the Patreon if you can. Support the channel, super chats, super stickers are turned on. I mean, from this to the AI video posted by, I think it was Iran, with Jesus Christ, JC with the one-hitter quitter. I mean, come on. And I will say, actually, I realized I had it here last. Just like Norm Finkelstein's The Holocaust Industry, may not like the person, the individual, but I think the context is great. This one, I used to be a little obsessed with learning about white people, which is why I fucking, don't put up with them. American Fascists, the Christian Right, and the War on America by Chris Hedges. He is an anti-communist. Fucking surrounds himself with weirdos. But it's a great fucking book. Just an astonishing fucking book. There's so much to learn here, and it helps that Chris Hedges is like an ordained minister. I forget, from Harvard, I want to say, but I don't remember. Oh, look at this, perfect. This system ensures continuous feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, guilt, and self-loathing. That many converts feel deep remorse for past actions, for mistakes and cruelties, for the despair that has gripped their lives only makes them more insecure. Nice. What else? Ooh, masculinity. Okay. Hypermasculinity becomes a way to compensate, especially since the unspoken truth is that Christian men are required to have a personal, loving relationship with a male deity and surrender their will to a male-dominated authoritarian church. Submission to church authority, after all, is a potent form of emasculation. Oh. It entails a surrendering of conscience and personal control. Yeah. What is that? And deadens emotions and feelings. Deadens, right? Like to kill off.
Deadens.
I said deadens, huh? Deadens emotions and feelings. Glorified acts of force and violence against outsiders, against non-believers, compensate for this unquestioning submission. The domination men are encouraged to practice in the home over women and children becomes a reflection of the domination they are taught to endure outside of the home. The Cult of Masculinity. That's a solid chapter. But I reread this book. I reread this book a few times just to remind myself how fucking deranged these people are. I don't know. No, not yet. David Barnes. I'll get to it though. I'll get to it. A spoonful of supremacy makes the militarism go down. That's right. Don't forget. Don't forget to take yours. I have seen Expresso Depresso the Minnesota Somali Manifest Destiny, and I kind of spoke out against it because they're not indigenous. What are you making those jokes for? It's not fair. Bro went to shit in my 20s too. 9/11, I was 20. I think I was like in fucking 3rd grade or some shit. Hey, at least you got to live in a world before the complete surveillance state takeover. Jesus, BT, come on, man. I get the joke, but that is so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. uh, all right. I did want to go over this. I'll be super brief with this one. It's kind of California based. Actually, yeah, it's perfect. Okay, cool. So do not believe this myth that all you have to do is vote harder for the Democratic Party. That all we need is to have a Democratic Party that has majority in both houses and the White House, and everything will be fixed. It's not fucking true. They will always find a way to reject, essentially pushing up against capitalism, to threaten capital. They will always find a way to guarantee the safety of the capitalists and to continue prioritizing capital over everything. California, the cliche and the stereotype and the propaganda is that we're a fucking blue state and everything's fucking hunky-dory. All minorities, marginalized people are welcome and loved. Utter fucking bullshit. I grew up in a predominantly brown community. Still had to deal with fucking racists somehow. Like, just, bro, when I tell you, one of the funniest fucking moments, and because other were arguably a little frightening or whatever, but this is, and I've talked about this before, one of the funniest fucking moments. I'm probably in middle school, if not younger, probably younger. Because I think in middle school, I probably would have been definitely down to curse somebody out. So probably in elementary, but like the second half of elementary. And the funniest part is we're literally in this section. This was back in the day when it was like Gigante, of the grocery store, and like where you can scoop the frijoles and all that shit. We're like in that kind of corner, that pocket little area. I remember this because I love tamarindo. Like, agua de tamarindo is my fucking favorite. Although I usually get Jamaica if I go out because it's more prominent. Agua de tamarindo is my favorite, and it's really healthy and good for you. And even just eating the tamarindo like raw is fucking awesome. Anywho, and then you regret it later because there's not enough tamarindo to make the agua, but it is what it is. So we're like in that section, and we're talking. Guess what? In fucking Spanish, right? And this white lady says, you shouldn't do that. You should talk to them in English so that they learn. I don't talk about family members because I don't have that fucking rosy ass fucking life that a lot of people apparently have on here, which is wild to me. Not in the chat, but on these white leftist streets. But the response I was given was essentially, don't tell me how to raise my children, yada yada. If you want to hear English, go to fucking Ralph's. Go to Albertsons. What the fuck are you doing here? And so when you've dealt with that racism and you're a fucking kid, pinche escuincle chavalito, like, you've been through that. Do these motherfuckers think that I'm gonna like, oh, they call me a no sabo? Bro, like, my family has literally been racially harassed for speaking Spanish in a store called Gigante. Make that shit make sense. Where you think you're safe and comfortable, where you could just speak Spanish to everyone and expect everyone to understand you. Even that wasn't safe in Southern California. In LA County. Like, it just double it down, triple it down, and it's just like, bro. But I've never seen an old white lady run that fucking quick. Never seen that. Ay, ay, ay. The fucking stories, man. The fucking stories. So it's funny because, and then I'll get to this article just to wrap up. What we've been through growing up, these people, like, you think the online shit's gonna get to me? That shit's a fucking breeze. Because guess what? I could put the fucking phone down and walk away and carry on with my day. I could come back when I'm bored, entertain myself a little bit more. There was this person ruining my phone last night who, I don't know where, was like talking about Dr. Ball and saying like, you should question him on his position on China. He associates with the PSL, this and that. And I'm like, first I was just kind of like joking around because I'm in the trolling fucking talking shit mode. And then I noticed they start like making like personal statements, not about me. And I was like, yo, like this, I literally put, you are ruining my fun. Cause I'm over here like not giving a shit. And, but then like something like that something's like, hey bro, like what the fuck are you doing over here? Like I'm over here clearly in the mud, in the chaos, having a good fucking time. Why the fuck are you trying to like have a serious conversation over here? Like, what are you doing? Like why are you trying to like completely turn the conversation? And I don't get it. Like, the fuck does this got to do with me? Because they're like, I've seen you. You have a good position on China, this and that. You're willing to be critical. Yeah, and the fuck? And like, bro, and I literally said like, bro, like shout out to CJ, who's an amazing fucking mind, right? He's an anarchist. Have you ever heard me disparage him, disparage anarchists? Like, what the fuck? I don't do that stuff. We have political disagreements. Great. Dope. Okay. Can I learn from you? Hopefully I can fucking put you onto something. I don't know. Probably not. But I'll try. Right? I just don't get that shit, bro. And of course, he was chat. What was he? Chat. A white dude. It's like, bro, like, I'm over here talking shit, having fun. And you're over here trying to get like, serio? Like, for what? None of this shit fucking matters. All right. Nah. Don't bring that stuff here, man. Don't bring that stuff here. I let y'all get away with, saying some shit, but CJ's on the come up. CJ's on the come up. I mean, bro, like, CJ the Radical. You people have no idea how fucking stupid and just, man. It's funny because I was thinking about this, right? I was like, I never cared enough, unfortunately, when I was younger, especially like in high school. I just didn't, like, I knew a little bit what was happening, but I didn't care enough. I was too busy focused on training Muay Thai, trying to fucking, because this was before it was like readily available. I mean, I still had to have a connect, a plug, and pick up and do all this shit, right? So I had to do that. Still had to wait sometimes hours so they fucking could pull up. All that nonsense. Towards like senior year, junior year, dispensary started getting popular. I managed to finesse it and get my rec senior year. And boy, when I tell you that when you're a senior in high school and you're able to pick up legally, yeah. I don't know how I made it to that fucking year. I do not know how I made it to that fucking year. I don't remember most of it. No, it ain't that bad, but it was bad. And I was never, I mean, it's funny because I was never, again, because I knew how difficult shit can be. And it was back then when you literally had to have 5 on it. I wasn't out here. I was never dealing anything in the sense of I was never profiting from this. I was like, yo, bro, like, I'll go in there, you know, what's the grocery list type of shit. And I'm not going to add any interest on that. Like, bro, we're all here to have a fucking good time. I've never been that type of individual. So if I get to the point where I'm like, hey, you got gas money, homie, it's because I was needing gas money. It wasn't like because I was trying to be greedy or anything like that. But man, those are some lazy fucking days. Lazy fucking days. Can't do it anymore. I'm an upstanding citizen. All right. Yeah, shout out to CJ's video on Ibram Torre. Solid work. And it's always a difficult, I think it's always courageous to kind of come out and you know, put yourself out there, because it's very easily he could have done the opposite and gotten a lot of praise and a lot more circulation if he would have gone the other direction with that video. There was, who was it? Oh yeah. It was shout out to Diallo. Because Diallo was, correct me if I'm wrong here, one of the only people that I heard questioning Torre early on, like literally days into it, which was another level of kind of courage to be like, well, you know, can we be honest and say this is not a democracy, right? Which, you know, that's a whole other conversation. But I remember that got a little heated, but it was much appreciated because it was like just the reality, you know, just the reality. All right. It's weird to realize there are smokers who never had to cop a dub. Bro, talk about feeling old. One of like, I'm being stupid. I don't know if I should share this stuff. It doesn't matter. So I will walk to school in the mornings because I was always missing the bus, right? The school, not the school bus, the public fucking bus. So I've always been late to everything my whole life. And so I would walk it in the mornings. It's actually a decent walk. It was nice. And dude, I get to campus and I remember that I have a joint on me. And I'm like, fuck. I'm in school. Like I'm in school. Like I can't fucking turn back, bury that shit, hide it somewhere. Like I'm donezo. And I'm like, bro, like if I hide this on campus and somebody finds it, in terms of like an authority figure, and they're like, you know what, let's leave it there and see who comes back for it, I'm fucked, right? And it hurt my soul to have to toss that thing. Because it was literally like beginning of the day that I realized this. So it wasn't like, ooh, like I can hedge my bet. Like if because we had a lot of like random drug tests, in the sense they would bring the dogs around. A lot of that. Brown fucking school was a lot of it. And I'm just like, fuck, I can't risk this. And I had to toss that shit. And like to this day, I'm fucking 32 years old. To this day, I still think about that joint. Yeah. I just didn't check my pockets, or I was just used to like, you know what I mean? So the ones that we forget, the ones we lost. Moment of silence. All right. Oof. Yeah, it's always funny how Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, do I agree with that? I don't know if I agree with that. That's a detail. That would be a dope, interesting conversation to have. Although I would rather listen to like Diallo and CJ talk about that. Born of Africa says Diallo has been criticizing Ibram for a while. He doesn't believe that the revolution can come from the military. Born of Africa, do you remember what was the name of that stream? I'm assuming it was on Earn Your Liberation, but I could be wrong. Because I think, who was on that stream? Was it a Jamu? Fuck, I don't remember who it was. It was a while ago. It was at this point like 2 years maybe. If you're on the Discord, and no pressure if you're not, if you could share that video if you remember it, I appreciate that, because that would be dope to have a throwback. The joint that got away, basically. Oh, was on his own show? No, because there was. I mean, remember there was other people. There was other people, and he was arguing. Like it got heated for a second. Ah, fuck, man. I'm a real fan. I'm telling you. No, it wasn't that. It was no, because it was a legit debate that they started going back and forth. They got a little heated, uncomfortable, because I'd never seen the elder like that before. And it literally, there was, bro, I remember this because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I distinctly remember somebody saying something along the lines of like, basically like you're young, you don't know what you're talking about. It got to that level. Am I hyping this shit up? I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not trying to stir anything up, but I remember I was like, yo, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, because it kind of came out of left field. I remember being hyped the fuck up listening to that. Because I love the fucking chaos, bro. I was like, the family's fighting. No. All right. Let's get it together. He said it on EYL and other places as well. He is right. The military is not a revolutionary organization. Egypt and other nations are proof of that. I mean, the problem is, look at Venezuela and Hugo Chavez. Was that not? I mean, I guess you could say that, I mean, they had a democratic approach after the fact, but in terms of setting, I don't know. It's difficult. Say no to entrism for sure. All right. Let's get to it. Don't believe liberals when they tell you all you need to do is vote for Democrats. Don't believe it when they say all we need is to vote more Democrats in. We just need a majority in both houses. We need the White House and we'll get all your dreams accomplished. Because in California, let me tell you, no es así. We see it firsthand. These people can call themselves Democrats, be legitimate Democrats, be fucking imposters, what have you. It makes no fucking difference. They will make sure the Capitol remains protected. California Nurses Association, CNA, members condemn the California State Assembly's failure to advance AB 1900, the California Guaranteed Healthcare for All Act, also known as CalCare, at a time when healthcare is needed more urgently than ever before. The failure to advance AB 1900 shows a lack of leadership and a capitulation to corporate healthcare interests. CalCare is a comprehensive, high-quality, single-payer program that would be many Californians' only lifeline to care. Nurses remain relentless in the pursuit to guarantee healthcare as a human right in the state. Now, what I do want to mention is nurses are advocating for this and advancing this and pushing this forward, knowing that, unfortunately, the system is going to struggle to be able to provide adequate care for all these new patients that desperately need it and should be getting it for free, right? And even them knowing that are like, we need to pass this. We're willing to confront the understaffing. We're willing to confront, being overworked. We're willing to confront all these things because, look, there's negative stereotypes of nurses. It's like, get out of your dating head for a second and just realize that the majority of nurses are good individuals. trying to do good by you. Is there institutional racism within the system? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not diminishing or discounting that. But I just want to acknowledge, again, just like the nurses striking in New York, being harassed by Mamdani and Tish's police force. These are good individuals, broadly speaking, trying to care for others. So credit to them. I mean, because we forgot that they were heroes a few years back, and then they went back to being fucking nobodies and taken advantage of. We condemn this disgraceful. Excuse me, where did I leave off? No, I was way up here. Damn, started yapping immediately. Where are we? The failure to advance AB 1900 shows a lack of leadership and a capitulation to corporate healthcare interests. CalCare is a comprehensive, high-quality, and single-payer program that would be many Californians' only lifeline for care. Nurses remain relentless in their pursuit to guarantee healthcare as a human right in the state. We condemn this disgraceful decision by the California State Assembly to stop CalCare from moving forward in the legislature, said CNA Executive Director Punyet Maraja. Nurses know that Californians desperately need guaranteed healthcare. We have fought for decades to ensure that healthcare is a human right regardless of patients' ability to pay. CalCare was reintroduced to the Assembly on February 12, 2026. A recent poll conducted by David Binder Research found that nearly 2/3 of California voters want to see transformational changes, not minor reforms to California's broken healthcare system. Uncertainty and anxiety about healthcare costs have been rising, exacerbated by unprecedented trillion-dollar cuts at the federal level, with more than 40% of voters saying it's become harder to afford healthcare in the past several years. The poll also shows that more than 3/4 of Democrats are more likely to support a candidate for governor if they were to run on creating a single-payer system. Don't worry. Newsom would have done it, but he's too busy vetoing healthcare for postmenopausal women. I hope that's how you say it. Postmenopause. Californian Union Nurses, represented by CNA, remain committed to continuing to lead the organization to building the grassroots movement necessary to win support for and pass CalCare. More than 300 organizations have endorsed CalCare, including the California Federation of Labor Unions, ACLU, California Action, California Faculty Association, California Federation of Teachers, California School Employee Associates, California Teacher Association, California Working Families Party, the ARC of California, University Professional and Technical Employees, and United Auto Workers Region 6. Hundreds of patients and community activists have already filled 4 town halls earlier this year to learn about CalCare. Supporters have held drop-in actions at nearly 100 districts offices in support of CalCare and dialed some 2,000. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Dialed some 20,000 Californians to drive more than 750 calls to the Capitol. At the California Democratic Party's convention in February, several hundred people rallied, Jesus fucking Christ, for the passage of CalCare. I'm literally trying to speed run this and just making it worse. Nurses are grateful for the 25 legislators who are joint authors or co-authors of CalCare. AB 1900's joint authors are assembly members. Yeah, I'm not reading all that shit. But good on them, I suppose. Where are we? The co-authors include, not reading the co-authors either, but that's about it. Oh, this is way shorter. I didn't need to rush this much. Where are we? Nurses are also deeply appreciative of the ongoing efforts of Assembly Member Maya Bonta, chair of the Assembly Healthcare Committee, to pass CalCare. Any delay in CalCare directly impacts the healthcare Californians. We know that the disastrous impact of HR 1 are coming and more people will die. This is a disappointing setback, but we will never stop fighting for CalCare. That was brutal. My apologies. All right. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. What am I going to play? That's a real question. It's been a weird stream. My apologies. I was talking to somebody at work. The homie has it's Filipino. Has a very prominent accent. We're just talking about accents and stuff like that. And I was just like, my main problem is that I mumble a lot. Like, I don't enunciate like this or try to make myself understood in real life. I don't give a fuck if you hear me or not. I don't care. Like, I don't know. I'm weird like that. Like, not like, oh, I'm weird. I'm different. But like, either you pick up what I'm saying or you don't. I don't know what you want. But because of streaming, I've had to force myself to kind of like really force the words out properly. So I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. What the fuck, man? Okay, let's pull this up and then I'll be right back. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I guess we'll do this. Where are we? Oh, that's perfect.
Me and you align. That's the reason why I'm like, bro, the reason why a bunch of established Democrats hate me is because.
Sorry. Eero says that's the weed. I'm not ready to admit that there's long-term effects of all the smoking I did when I was younger, especially because you have to understand, I was at the right age when wax hit the scene. Like when it really hit. When that thing was like tar. Like I had a Hassan Piker voice change because of that. Because that's how brutal it used to be. Like you would be out. You'd be gone. Like that whole fucking commercial where they sink into the fucking couch. That's how like the jump from just a regular bowl, even if you put some hash or whatever, to like wax, like that shift was. That's the first time where I really had to say I need to stop smoking because it was like, it was bad, bro. Imagine like I would start off my school days with a dab. It was not good. It was not good, man. I'm not saying this to brag or say I was cool. No, like it was stupid as fuck. But there you go. maybe, I don't know, man. Ooh, spice. I remember, again, there's a reason why I don't get into the personal. It's just not even worth it. Never mind combating parasocial shit. I remember Christmas Day. Again, I think around like senior year, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it had to be around that time. And dipping out and doing spice for the first time. Bro, to this day, I struggle to remember what fuck we were up to. Anywho, be right back.
Because when they talk about fascism, they get mad at me pointing out, you only cared about fascism when Republicans was in office. You only, I literally, they don't like me because I point out.
I'm asking you this.
People was already
like, you and like Joe
job.
Biden, like I'm just curious. Like I'm seriously curious.
Curious.
Do you and Joe Biden have beef?
Yes.
So why were you smiling with him so intently?
Woo. I was smiling for a picture.
Why did you urge people to vote for him?
I was going to vote for him to make sure Donald Trump.
Why did you have how were you even able to get the private?
Hey, did you see the Rolling Stone article of me saying?
It don't matter to me. I'm asking you about something else.
I'm telling you the reason.
What did Joe Biden end up doing at the end of the day though?
Not get made it where he had to move out the way. Hey, that Rolling Stone.
He didn't move out the way.
Why didn't you consciously? Why don't you continue to support Joe Biden? Shit, because he a Zionist.
Oh,
so
Damn. That's cool. Hey, when did Joe Biden said if Israel didn't exist, we would have to invent an Israel? So I don't think that was during his presidency. In fact, let's look it up. Fuck it. June 5th, 1986.
As most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
At least he's honest.
I am with my colleagues who are on the floor in the Foreign Relations Committee, and we worry at length about NATO. And we worry about the eastern flank of NATO, Greece and Turkey, and how important it is. They pale by comparison. May I have one more minute, I ask my colleague?
1 more minute to fucking grovel for the Zionist entity. 86. Wow.
So wait, so your red line for Joe Biden wasn't Zionism? Your red line for Joe Biden wasn't his history of anti-blackness and the mass incarceration?
I would say this. Me, like many Americans, Zionism is a part of the new way I'm able to understand what's going on in the Middle East. And I'm able to say I didn't understand nearly as much as what I know about Palestine in 2020. And I think that it would be crazy to say that an individual learning more about Zionism and learning who with the Zionist gang and saying that because you was with them at any point in time, you can't never be against Zionism. I think that it's preposterous, especially able to say that.
My thing is, you repeatedly platform.
No, listen. After I was in Rolling Stone specifically for saying fuck Joe Biden because he was Zionist, I never talked about Joe Biden again. Never engaged Joe Biden again. As a matter of fact,
look at the setup. Look at the setup. Consciously thought he was doing something. Nah, homie. It was a fucking feint. You bit on a fucking feint. Mind you, that feint hurt him because look at the thumbnail. Look how he's smiling from ear to ear to be taking a photo with Joe Biden.
With the Harris campaign?
What?
Did you engage any with the Harris campaign? Did you endorse Kamala Harris?
I endorsed Kamala Harris. Yeah, I said Kamala Harris is better than Donald Trump.
So, okay.
Not the question.
That.
Yeah, not the question.
So, what is the difference between it? Do you recognize Kamala Harris as an extension of the Biden campaign or the Biden administration?
Yes. This is the reason why I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask all of the liberals. This is the reason why. This is the reason why I got into it with all the liberals is that they were mad at me that I pointed out. The reason why this woman lost in many instances is because she continued a lot of those unpopular positions. What you saying though
is that Zionist cheese again?
What?
I'm asking you because now you said you don't support Joe Biden, Joe Biden because he is Zionist, right? Why would you then go to an extension of his administration who said out of her own mouth, I'm not doing anything different than Joe Biden?
Hey, politics is about going from policy to policy. You are able to
different policies that she have from him.
Literally the worst person to make that argument with is Kamala Harris. The worst fucking person to make that argument with, because you get away with that one. You can get, hey, you know what? I really locked in onto this one policy, and for me that outweighs this and that, whatever. That could go through. But bro, the person that said, I can't think of any differences. I can't think of something I would have done differently than Joe Biden. Running Joe Biden's campaign, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, Kamala Harris, worst fucking person to try and run this play with. Like, just stupid, bro.
From policy to policy. You are able
different policies that she have from him.
What I'm telling you is that from the entirety of when the campaign started to when the campaign happened, I'm saying every instance. We needed weapons embargo.
I'm saying though. She's actually on some policies, she's actually worse than Trump. On the border policy, she said she was gonna have thousands more border cops. She said that she went back on fracking, which is harmful for the environment. She said she was going to fund cop cities in excess of millions of dollars.
That is just a preview of what we're getting into. Consciously made a horrible mistake, horrific mistake by having on CJ. We had to combat the Hassan Pikers. We had to combat the Consciously. We had to combat the Sam Cedars. We had to combat the Vanguards. We had to combat the Crystal Balls, the Cal Kalinskis. We had to combat these fucking people because their role is to be counterinsurgent propagandists. Their goal is to harness any radical movement and turn it back into the Democratic Party. That is their role. To make the viewers, people that trust in them, that follow them, believe in the bullshit that the Democratic Party can be redeemed.
I voted for Kamala Harris.
Thank you so much, Aaron Walker, for the super chat. It don't take logic much to expose these DNC ops. So when I was talking to Jared from Millennials Are Kidding Capitalism, that was my whole point of why I kept saying, like, Dr. Ball just asked very simple questions to Norm Finkelstein. Because when somebody's being a little bit of a fraud and the little bit's carrying a lot there, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much pressure for them to fold.
I'll let you start, man. I'll let you start on where the indictment comes from. You seen my content, you know, and you made some criticisms and critiques. You know, this is where this dialogue starts. This dialogue starts with a consciously criticism, consciously critique. So I'm gonna give you the floor where you able to, you know, really articulate specifically what I don't even call it a beef, what your indictment was towards what I do in my content, and then we can start from there.
Yeah, so I'll say this. It most definitely from my end had to, like, it went way further. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt disrespected, but I'll get into that later. So we can start this all with Jasmine.
Look. I love when people are able to put like, they're like, look, you disrespected me. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Right now, there's the first things first, the criticism, the matter at hand, and we'll get to the personal shit later. I like that. You're prioritizing not your feelings, not your emotions, not your ego, but the subject. I appreciate that. And again, for somebody who's supposed to be the younger person in this interaction, right? And by younger, it's usually the stigma of being immature, of being childish, of being not being able to control your emotions, right? We see none of that from that's CJ. Gross. I'm telling you, I don't like fucking that type of humor.
Our views on electoralism may be very different. You know what I'm saying? You may have faith in the system, in the electoral process.
Call me a prude. It grosses me the fuck out, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck you got going on. I don't want you what I got going on. Like, this is what I was doing. I was fixing this up. I've shown this on stream before, but I wanted it in a glass so y'all could see it. This is called tequino. Fermented maize. Or maize, if you will. So I was mixing it because it's that special way. So I've grown up drinking this. It's part of my culture. I grew up drinking this, so it's a very acquired taste. It's very overwhelming, and so much so that normally you should get it or people get it with nieve de limon, right? Helado de limon, I should say, because it's not milk based. It's water based. They throw it in there to make this more enjoyable, sweeter, because it's very I don't know, the word is like, I don't know if the word would be tart. But it's usually pretty thick. I like mine to be espresso, to be thick. No, you're all good. Don't worry about it. Just kind of like, it's I've always been weird about that. I'm like, ain't nobody trying to hear that, and or know about that. So I was fixing this because you just have to like take your time and you grab a cup that's in it, and then you're just going back and forth to get a good kind of blend going. I didn't have time, or I should have. I guess I kind of forgot to put more salt in it. So it's not the most healthiest thing. By itself, it is. I never get it con with the limon, the helado de limon. But it comes with salt, and it comes with lime and lemon, and then just some ice, and they shake it up. It is my favorite drink. I try not to drink it too often so it could remain my favorite drink. My spot that I go to, there's 2 locations, but they're both a bit of a drive. And it's just kind of like, sometimes it's just not worth going. But I recently had some like side of the road spots that I appreciate, that I like, that I enjoyed. But they're all a little bit more watered down just because that's a more popular way of making it, and it's more just convenient to sell it a little bit more watered down because obviously you could put out more drinks. But these foods, like, they're known for this. This is what they do. They make tejuinos, and so they're able to make it like it should be, in my opinion, which is thick, espeso. And it's always great, being there. Again, I can't get into details of why it is I grew up drinking this. If you know about tejuinos and kind of where they originate, you know why I grew up drinking this. Although, like many things, I don't claim that state. Bro, it's really popular in Guadalajara, Jalisco. I have no relation, is all I'm gonna say. All right. But yes, I need to have some. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't had it, you ever get a chance, try it first. Natural, meaning without helado de limon, and then have it after with it. And then you'll probably enjoy it a lot better. It tastes amazing with it. I just adore the actual flavor itself, that I don't like to pollute it. Orpheus Online says, I just made bomb agua de pepino. I think it's a bit more refreshing. Oh, yeah. No, this is not a refreshing beverage. This is not a like not in that sense where you're like, it's kind of like, it's just good. It's a good drink. It is fermented, so technically, it's 12 o'clock somewhere. I don't know. It makes me so happy when I'm able to pick it up. I always get 2 large cups, one for the day of, and the other for like to spread throughout the week. It's tejuino. I've talked about it before. Let me pull it over here. Let's watch a video of it. Fuck it. Tequila. I really don't like watching other people's videos, but we'll go through. I want to see a fucking bean, a real. Well, it is from Jalisco, so they're a little bit lighter skinned. This guy looks. Let's go with this right.
Today we are going to prepare a delicious tejuino in the Jalisco style, since this drink is traditional in...
Is this AI? Oh yeah, it's auto dub. No, you can't do that. Settings. Okay. That's so funny. That threw me off.
De este estado, especialmente aquí en Guadalajara. Este día vamos a preparar un delicioso tejuino al estilo Jalisco, ya que esta bebida es tradicional de este estado, especialmente.
So he's saying we're going to make a traditional tejuino, which is the style that's made from Jalisco, because traditionally that's where it comes from.
Aquí en Guadalajara. Para esta preparación tenemos sal de grano, la necesaria, 3/4 de kilo.
Sal de grano, which is like I don't know what you call that in English, like just salt, like the thicker salt, because what you want is you want the little crystallized chunks of salt to hit you. Perfect. Oh, my mouth is getting watery just thinking about it. All right.
Kilo de masa de maíz. Esta la pueden conseguir ustedes en cualquier.
So that's the masa. That's the actual masa de maíz made out of corn. It does not look pleasant, but it just works.
Tortillería o con las personas en los mercados que vendan este tipo de.
He's basically saying you can get that at like where they make tortillas or just a mercado. Anyway.
masa. Y si no tienen masa, pueden utilizar harina de maíz. Nada más que la harina de maíz pues va a llevar más cantidad de agua. Tenemos...
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That if you don't have the masa, you could use harina, like the powdered. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was never even... Wow, that makes sense, but he's saying you're going to need more water to compensate. I didn't know that. It's interesting. I actually might try to do this at home. It's going to be awful, but I might try. I just might.
Limones, los necesarios, 950 gramos de piloncillo, este piloncillo oscuro, panocha o tiene otro nombre también, 4 litros de agua.
Bro, he just has a wild word, but okay. But he doesn't mean it that way. I actually don't know, what is that? It's like a word, and I've seen it at the market. I've actually had this explained to me before. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. So it's unrefined solid cane sugar. I'm not going to lie to you. A little bit of fucking ghetto shit, but like I've literally kind of like gotten a chunk of this and like as a kid and just fucking eating this. Which you're not supposed to do. It's horrible.
Y hielo. Vamos a ocupar mucho hielo. Este es poquito para la
cantidad. So you're gonna need a lot of ice.
Pero se necesita hielo también y mucho. Bien, vamos a iniciar la preparación. Vamos a vertir en esta olla que yo tengo aquí 3 litros de agua. Este recipiente tiene capacidad de 1 litro. Vamos a encender el fuego para que se vaya calentando el agua. Vamos a seguir añadiendo el agua hasta completar los 3 litros. Aquí van 2 y con este van 3. Vamos a esperar que se caliente un poco el agua para añadir el piloncillo. Bien, ya está caliente el agua. Ya podemos agregar el piloncillo. Este lo vamos a añadir con cuidado, no nos vaya a salpicar el agua. Y aquí lo vamos a dejar en el fuego hasta que se derrita, solo que vamos a estar moviendo para que no se pegue y se...
And you just basically let it boil until it completely deteriorates, I was thinking, but I don't even know if that's the right translation. But you got to make sure it doesn't stick to the pan. So you got to keep stirring.
Lo vamos a licuar, yo creo que en 2 partes.
You're going to blend.
No va a caber en una sola, no se va a poder licuar bien.
He's saying it's like too thick, so you might have to do like 2 rounds.
Y vamos a agregar agua del litro que dejamos, que reservamos para...
All right, so there's 1 liter for this.
Licuarla.
Dissolve, sorry.
Con medio litro de agua. Vamos a licuar, que se licúe bien,
so a liter and
que no queden grumos.
So a liter and a half. I've actually never seen this made.
Por 2 minutos licuándola para que no queden grumos.
You gotta blend that shit for 2 minutes.
Ya el piloncillo ya casi está derretido. Le falta muy poquito. Diluir en agua y ir moviendo constantemente para...
So you gotta keep fucking turning that shit while pouring it in. All right.
Que no se pegue.
So
y no se
stick.
nos vaya a quemar.
You gotta make sure it doesn't get
Vamos
burnt.
a licuar el resto de la masa.
Así the second round of the masa getting blended.
Por 2 minutos y vamos a agregar.
2 minutes again. Pour and fucking stir.
De mover para que no se nos pegue.
Gotta keep moving it so it doesn't get stuck.
Esté cociendo bien. Dejar algunos 15 minutos para que alcance el espesor.
So you're doing this for about like 15 minutes.
Y la cocidita no debe de estar cruda para que así agarre su buen sabor. Y después le vamos a agregar el jugo de unos limones. O si
So you gotta cook it right so that it's not raw when you actually drink it.
Ustedes gustan también, le pueden agregar jugo de piña o...
What? Bro, I never thought of that. He said, oh yeah, you put like, obviously the limes, but if you want, you could also do like pineapple juice. Bro, I'm gonna have to try that shit. Pineapple juice. Oh man. AJ says, I didn't appreciate this drink enough as a kid. Definitely interested in doing it myself. All right. AJ, are you is your family from Guadalajara? Tepache? It looks chocolatey. I mean, I think most of our like old school shit looks chocolatey.
O concentrado de tamarindo, que son...
He said you could use tamarindo too. What the fuck? That's a game changer. I didn't know there's like varied flavors of tejuino. I am missing out.
Un poco aciditos para que le den acidez también, pero el limón es lo tradicional que se le agrega. La
The lime's the
consistencia,
traditional.
ahorita que tenemos, miren, ya está haciéndose como atolito.
Como atole.
Ya de hace ratito está
That's
hirviendo
hilarious.
y su consistencia cada vez es más espesa.
Dude, I haven't had atole in a minute. I gotta wait till it gets cold again.
Y esto es bueno porque indica que va bien el cocimiento de la masa. Ya
Oh, you're saying that this look right here, like these bubbles, is really good.
huele a la masita con el piloncillo que se está cociendo. Ya está bien cocida la masa, si ustedes pueden ver. Ya está la
Says the masa is
consistencia
like fucking
espesita, así nos debe de
cooked
quedar.
right.
Así debe de quedar. Vamos a agregarle el jugo
Shit's
de
hot.
5 limones aproximadamente para que le dé ese sabor, esa acidez y fermente el jugo
limes?
de los limones.
Oh, see, okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't like this part here. I don't know. I'm assuming he doesn't want the pulp, but I love pulp. Like, I'm the weirdo that, like, I want the extra pulp. God Almighty created orange juice with pulp in it. Gosh darn it. If I ain't a Christian man, a Catholic man, that is, I'm gonna drink my orange juice, my OJ, if you will, the way that CJ or JC, my bad, my dyslexia hit me, intended us to drink with goddamn pulp. So I don't know. I mean, it's hot as fuck. So I don't know if the pulp is even gonna survive it. So I guess it'd just be a waste. I don't know. Let's see if he uses it. Let's see if he uses it after. Cause bro, this guy would be peak if he saves the pulp or after it cools down. Why? How the fuck did we turn into a cooking channel? I'm sorry, y'all. Let's just wrap it up.
Si ustedes no le quieren agregar limón, le pueden agregar jugo de piña, unas 2 tazas.
So he doubles
Jugo de
down with
piñas que
the
venden ya en
pineapple
envase
juice.
de cartón, pero el limón es lo más adecuado. Justamente con el limón, que les digo, o cualquier otro elemento más. El limón por fuerza debe de ir al momento de servirse el vaso o ahorita en este momento. Y es el jugo de 5 limones grandecitos. La preparación todo el día y lo que falta de la noche, aunque ustedes la pueden utilizar ya enfriándose unas 4 horas, ya pueden empezar a preparar su tejuino.
So it's recommended kind of an overnight thing to let it sit, but you could just wait like about 4 hours after it's cooled down to really start drinking it, which that would be my dumb ass. Probably trying to drink it hot too.
Pero yo lo voy a dejar fermentar al menos toda la noche para preparar el tejuino y vean cómo quedó. Vamos
So yeah, you just kind of want to let it sit at least overnight so it get fermented and get that proper taste.
a tapar con una servilleta.
I'm being so honest right now. The opposite of locked in, Sheriff Lindstag. I charge you with racism. This is cultural lesson here.
Para que se fermente mejor. Y así lo vamos a dejar. De una vez lo voy a acomodar en el lugar donde lo voy a dejar. Y esa preparación se les va a volver gelatinosa para que no se asusten. Se les va a hacer la
Oh, it says it's going to get like gelatin. Like the texture is going to get gelatin.
consistencia como gelatina. Bien, dejamos reposar
Like
la
yellow.
mezcla que hicimos con la masa y el piloncillo durante 30 horas hasta este momento. Y como les comentaba a ustedes, la pueden utilizar nada más con el reposo de una noche o ya que esté fría la pueden utilizar. Pero si la dejamos fermentar al menos las 24 horas o 2 noches, pues agarra un mejor sabor porque se
He recommends like a night or two to get a better flavor of the fermentation.
fermenta más la masa. Entonces vamos a iniciar la preparación. Vamos a mezclar aquí en la licuadora. Vamos a agregar un poco de agua para ayudarle a licuar la mezcla porque la consistencia que tomó es gelatinosa. Ustedes aquí pueden
So you got to do the blending again because of how thick it's gotten after fermentation.
ver cómo agarró la mezcla. Miren, gelatinosa. De la parte de arriba la agarró más café porque ahí se concentró todo el sabor del piloncillo, todo el color. Entonces vamos a agregar esta masa que está, como ustedes ven, como gelatina, pero
Oh, fuck, man.
ahorita con la licuada va a quedar más ralita, no va a quedar tan aguada. Y vamos a ir mezclando conforme vayamos necesitando. Yo aquí ya tengo hielo en esta olla.
All right, a lot of haters over here. All right, fine. You're all racist. God damn, bro. Okay, so this is how you prepare it. All right, just skip to this part. All right.
Vamos a agregarle el jugo de 2 limones, porque este tejuinito está delicioso.
After you chilled it, obviously diluted it, so it's not just a paste.
Y vamos a agregarle también la sal al gusto. Sal
You're
de
gonna add the
grano
salt
al
to your
gusto.
liking.
Este sí es el que ustedes le quieran agregar.
I'm so bad. I know like salt is bad for you or not. I fucking triple up, quadruple the fucking salt every single time.
Vamos ahora al tejuino. Con suficiente hielo.
I don't know. He says with enough ice. I'm always the jerk that's like, when it comes to tejuino, light ice. If I get away with saying no ice.
Y ahora lo que se hace es batirlo, mezclándolo de un vaso a otro.
Chat, what the fuck did I say I was doing this whole time? What the fuck did I say I was doing this whole time? Even after he's prepared it. Even after it's all like ready to go, he is still fucking... Porque cuando está espeso, because when it's done right and it's thick, you still gotta fucking be like a fucking barista over here, bro. Bartender.
Sí, para que se mezcle. Y ya quedó listo nuestro tejuino. Aquí está listo nuestro tejuino. Vamos a probar ahora qué tal nos quedó. Está muy delicioso. Les recomiendo que lo preparen y lo dejen reposar al menos esta cantidad de tiempo o una noche. Le agreguen suficiente sal, suficiente limón y que esté muy frío, muy heladito y sabe muy bueno. Bien amigos, pues espero que esta receta tan refrescante les sea de mucha utilidad sobre todo para este.
Gracias, jefe. All right, let's get back to it. I want to drink my drink, not chew. I want to drink my drink, not chew my drink, I think is what you meant. All right. This is his favorite drink. He has it sparingly. It stays his favorite drink. That's as far as back as I can remember. The fuck? Pulque? I've never had it, I don't think. But I've heard of it. I don't think I've had pulque. I don't think I have. I've had it in Jalisco. It's very tart and sour. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's healthy. I think if it's presented as healthy, but I don't know how healthy it really is. It's a whole lot of fucking sugar. All right. I mean, sure, like Grandpa might get what if he doesn't, right? Who are we gonna get instead? You know, he's guys. I'm a lesser two evil voter. Sorry. Guys, I'm a lesser two evil voters, and Grandpa is like the lesser of those two evils, even if he is like a white supremacist. All right. Okay. I fucking adore that drink. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, dirty rice water. Louisiana gumbo and dirty rice were okay. Totally misread that. I'm not even going to tell you where I had a gumbo for the first time because it's kind of embarrassing and I don't think it's legit. But the staff was super nice about it and claimed to have been from Louisiana. So I still claim that I haven't had it. Just because I don't feel, you know. Although if I do head down to Louisiana, y'all have Louisiana, do they have? Because I kind of want to try alligator. All right. Homie said, was it the gumbo from Norms? Get the fuck out of here. Look, shout out to Norms. The amount of times they have hosted me during hangovers and sleepless nights. They done right by me. But no, it was not there. It was out of state, but still was not in the South. I just feel like, I don't know, gator looks so good on the grill. Like, I guess the look of it and the texture looks really good. All right. Also, I miss having oysters, but I think moving forward, I would have to have them like grilled. Because yeah, it's too risky. It's too risky. All right, let me double check here. All right, chat. I think subconsciously too, I know it's gonna be a heavy article, so it's kind of like just kind of waiting off a little bit. All right, let's lock in here. From The Guardian, shout out to Ace for always keeping me true and making sure that we do not ignore and completely forget about Sudan. Heroism, horror, and the pits of hell inside the last days of El Bashir. Over 2 days on October 25, 2025, up to 10,000 people are believed to have been massacred. A further 40,000 civilians from the Sudanese city are still unaccounted for. This is a story of what happened. And this is by Mark Townsend. Video by Elena Morrissey and Lori Bolinier. All right. In a pistachio green Toyota Land Cruiser, rattling over the desert plain, Abu Qatar pressed his foot to the floor. Behind, the sun rose above El Fashir. Smoke belched from the stricken city. Qatar was driving the last vehicle of the final evacuation convoy from El Fashir. It was 5:45 a.m. on 27 October 2025. He couldn't have waited any longer. The historic capital of Sudan's sprawling region of Darfur would capitulate in the next 2 hours. Thousands of civilians, children, women, and men were slaughtered. The city streets had seen the fastest and largest killing spree this century. El Fashir's fall marked the vicious final of an end. Al Fashir's fall marked the vicious final of an 18-month starvation siege by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, the most brutal chapter of its ruinous war against Sudan's government forces. A depleted army garrison had defended the city alongside the joint forces, local self-protection groups who had come together to shield residents against genocide. At 6 a.m., the drones appeared, tracking the convoy, hunting Qatar, the 53-year-old chief of El Fashir's joint forces. In the pickup in front of Qatar's was General Imam Daoud, grievously wounded but conscious enough to accept he would probably die in the moments ahead. I was shocked how intensely the RSF was hitting us. They were throwing everything at us. Kamikaze drones, bombs, says Daoud. Qatar wheeled his convoy of 40 vehicles faster. A column of armored RSF vehicles was behind them. Beside him sat his bodyguard, Oka. In the back, 4 teenage fighters around a Nishik machine gun. In truth, it was a miracle all 6 survived. In truth, it was a miracle all 6 had survived so long. But their greatest trial was ahead. The pits of hell, a series of man-made trenches, culminating in a canyon 5 meters deep. Bro, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, you understand, we fucking make movies that aren't as like preposterous as this. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Onions at 3 a.m. Thanks for the gift memberships. Thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate that. The Sheriff Linsack wielding their authority. Thank you again for the gifted membership. Appreciate it. Camden didn't do it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Dude, those are the first gifted subs. Thank you so much. That's cool. I appreciate that, Onions at 3 a.m. That's awesome. All right. I was saying, like, a scene like this is like something that like Hollywood tries to recreate to demonstrate like the extents of like human ability and willingness to survive this and that. And this is like, this ain't some fucking movie shit for these people. They're actually going through these fucking nightmares in real time. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Samantha Sketcher says, and appreciate you so much for being here. That's literally what I think. The VFX and AA projects I've worked for, excuse me, start from the top. That's literally what I think. The VFX and AAA projects I've worked on don't even come close to this reality. Yeah, this is some fucking nightmare shit. Like literally, like somebody bleeding out, pedal to the metal, like just. And I've said this before, like Mad Max Fury Road is like my favorite movie, but it's like so detached from reality that it's like, oh yeah, it's a fictional world, post-apocalyptic, this and that. And then you kind of stop for a second and remember, like, there are people living through an apocalypse. Like their apocalypse is occurring. And the US is usually, generally, almost always behind it. And with the relationship of the CIA and the US military with Hollywood, I don't think it's a reach to say that some of these events might be inspiring certain scripts. As unsettling and maybe even unnecessary for that to be. But I think it'd be unsurprising if that were the case. No vehicle or human can get out. Everything trapped inside is killed by the RSF, says Daoud. Daoud has assumed it would end like this. So too had Western intelligence. The joint forces' chaotic withdrawal from the city had been molded by officials. Modeled. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's a weird one today. So too had Western intelligence. The joint forces' chaotic withdrawal from the city had been modeled by officials. In such detail, in fact, the killing at El Shafir were probably the most explicitly anticipated mass atrocities event. What the fuck? What do you mean? Well, hold on. I'm so sorry. These atrocities in Sudan were entirely predictable. So why did the rest of the world fail to stop it? Fuck, man. Fuck. Samantha, appreciate you being here so much. Samantha Sketcher says, I'll confirm it. They are. And the directors and production designers get excited looking at footage like this for inspiration. Fuck off. That's fucking demonic shit. That's fucking demonic shit. For mass atrocities or genocide to be your fucking muse, your inspiration, to get rich, to gain fame, to gain prominence. And you know, I mean, that's some like evil shit like that. You don't need to get into like Illuminati conspiracy, satanic shit. That's just like that in itself. That in itself it should be more than enough. In such detail, in fact, that the killings at El Fashir were probably the most explicitly anticipated mass atrocities event ever. Why then did it happen? The Guardian investigation reveals internal US and UK fucking always warnings were sidelined. US State Department intelligence assessments that would have triggered obligations to save El Fashir were buried. Fucking This is like exactly what we say when it's like inaction is still culpability. When you have the ability to stop something, no matter how small or how tragic and abhorrent like this, you are culpable for that as well. The UK seemingly abandoned Al Fashir. Reports predicting genocide apparently discarded. Intelligence apparatus that should have prompted intervention were not updated throughout the 561-day siege. Wow, bro, for over a fucking year. As fighting had intensified, the UK removed Darfur's original genocide when 300,000 were slaughtered by the RSF's Arab predecessors from its list of recognized mass atrocities. Fuck, man. Fresh questions also emerge with the RSF's principal backer, the United Arab Emirates, which made extraordinary attempts to conceal its alleged involvement in Al Fashir's bloody takeover. The UAE denies providing military support to the militia. Over 2 days, 26th and the 27th of October 2025, analysts believe up to 10,000 people in the city were massacred, and at least 40,000 others remain unaccounted for, according to Darfur's government. This is the story of those 2 days. 48 hours of killing, the speed and ferocity of which had not been seen since Rwanda 1994's genocide. Fuck, man. Onions at 3 a.m. Before I bounce for real, Sudan's news is very hard for me. My family is from South Sudan, and I get a lot of pushback for saying the country wasn't created for us. Seeing the carnage in the north is not surprising. Man. I mean, I understand. Well, I hate saying the word I understand. But yeah, if you need to step away, 100%, please. Samantha Sketcher says, it's really gross. It's egos, narcissism, excuse me, it's ego, narcissism, and a lot of cognitive dissonance. Yeah, I mean, we desperately need a reality check over here. I'm gonna stop drinking that. All right, this actually really gets started. This is October 26th, 3 a.m. Qatar noted the panic amongst troops retreating towards the west of Al Fashir. He knew what it meant. The headquarters of the 6th Infantry, the Army's last Darfur stronghold, had fallen. And here he is. But there was no official confirmation. Communications were down. Commanders across Sudan were frantically trying to contact the city. Senior Darfur rebel Salel al-Wali among them. Eventually, we accepted that al-Fashir was alone. The RSF's jamming technology meant that, for the first time, the city's defensive drones were grounded. The RSF controlled the sky. From his position in Darja Ula, Qatar put down the Motorola walkie-talkie that had been clamped in his hand for as long as anyone could remember. Beside him, Dawood pointed east. They were coming. 7 a.m. Inside the maternity ward of the last functioning hospital, Dr. Mustafa Ibrahim was jumpy. Several women were in labor as rockets slammed into Al-Sadi Hospital, coating expectant mothers with dust. Ibrahim heard the RSF approaching. They targeted doctors. He changed into his lucky cream sweater, a gift from his fiancée. In his backpack, 2 sets of underwear, water bottle, and phone charger. Outside was Bedlam. Surgeon Ismail Ahmed saw 70 civilians killed beside a nearby El Hakel building. The first witness massacre of the day. I mean, when it's to the point where you're saying this is the first massacre of the day, how do you mentally recover from this? 8 a.m. Seeing they were vastly outnumbered, Qatar withdrew his forces to the northwest corner of Al Fashir's university. He urged residents to follow. Stragglers were being shot at point-blank range, even disabled children, says Dawood. They were killing everyone. Ibrahim darted from house to house. Civilians were shot as they climbed walls, others as they crowded in shoulder-deep trenches. RSF fighters were everywhere. A T-55 tank rumbled by. This is Dr. Mustafa Ibrahim. From a rooftop, Ibrahim watched RSF pickups chasing thousands of people streaming towards the university. Toyota Hiluxes, mounted with 23mm anti-aircraft guns, pulverized fleeing crowds. Anti-aircraft. Fuck, man. Heavily pregnant women, toddler clinging to her back, was attempting to outrun the RSF. Both were killed in front of me, says Ibrahim. A bulldozer appeared, shoveling bodies into roadside trenches. Ibrahim continued west. It took forever, sneaking from one building to another. 9 a.m. Enormous crowds congregated at the university. Dormitories heaved. Its western square was standing room only. Drones appeared, dropping bombs. There was nowhere to run. Dawood had never seen so many drones, so many civilians massacred. We saw hundreds of children being killed, says the 43-year-old. Qatar ordered an evacuation of the city. Children were taken to Al Fashir's western gate. We were getting out civilians while clashing with the RSF, says Joint Forces fighter Mohammed Harir.
I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem?
Thank you for the super chat. Have you heard of Open Dyslexia? It's a web extension that changes the font of web pages so they're easier for people with dyslexia to read. You're a fucking sweetheart. Thank you so much for that. So I got you, huh? Yeah, I don't know how y'all put up with me, but thank you. I'll check that out for sure. Thank you. Just a quick side note. Like I remember speaking to a professor once, and I told him like, "Oh yeah, I'm probably dyslexic," and he told me he's like, "Why don't you like take advantage or not take advantage in like disingenuously, but actually use the resources available to you?" And it's just, I don't know if it's a first generation thing where the immigrant mentality is pushed on us. Um, I don't know what it is to where it's kind of like it's my shortcoming, and I should be reading more and reading out loud better. I should be preparing for these streams a lot better so it goes more fluid. But I'm always pointing the finger at me and the responsibility on myself. And unfortunately, I do believe that with, dedication, discipline, and training and consistency, you can accomplish anything. I know it's ridiculous. I know it's backwards. I know it's fucking borderline reactionary, but thank you. I will check that out, and I'll force myself to do that. And I have to do this, and I have to be honest with you, not even for me, because then I wouldn't do it, but to make the experience better for all y'all. So thank you for that. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. Linsack, it absolutely is. I forgot what I was watching where somebody said that self-hatred is the highest form of narcissism. I don't think this is self-hatred. It's hubris for sure. It's a guilt and penance. Catholic, baby, Catholic. All right. Okay, here we go. RSF fighters stormed the university southern section inside Al Rashid dormitory. 1,000 civilians were hiding. The militiamen entered, killing at least 500. Survivors played dead. Fuck, man. And these are the dozens of bodies on university grounds. Fuck, man. To the east, open ground lay between the university and Ibrahim. Once a picnic area, now it was a 100-meter wide kill zone. RSF pickups rammed anybody attempting to cross. Ibrahim kept hearing his name. Former patients, many badly wounded, were calling out to the 28-year-old for help. How those voices don't follow you for the rest of your life. And I'm thinking about, Wretched of the Earth and some of the very graphic and detailed, and mind you, I think I've read it 3 or 4 times, once in a reading group. And when you get to the detailed portions of graphic violence, especially sexual violence, and you're reading out loud, it's one thing when you're reading it to yourself, but when you're reading it out loud, it does something different, man. It does something different to read it out loud. And how uncomfortable it is to read it amongst other people, right? And that's just reading something and hearing those words out loud. But to hear people's screams as they're dying and calling out your name specifically, because as they're dying, they know that you're the only person that might be able to save them. They're not calling out for their mother. They're not calling out for their father. They're not calling out to God. They're calling out to you. The weight of that, I hope there is not an inch of guilt in his mind, in his body, because I mean, that is a way of describing hell, torment. To be somebody that heals and hearing that. At 28 years old. But I couldn't. I was trying to survive myself. Fuck, bro. I didn't. It's fucking unfair. That moment I lost my soul, he says. He ran, leaping over bodies, his white Puma trainers red with blood. Ah, man, that's so fuck. It is like survivor's guilt, but with the added burden of the responsibility of and knowing as a doctor, 11 a.m. Ibrahim was stunned by the crowd wedged within the university. The whole city seemed inside, but it was terrible. Massacres were everywhere. He noticed a woman disappear down a 50-centimeter wide trapdoor and followed her into an underground water tank. Of the dozens of mostly women and children there, many were injured. Some cradled bodies. It was catastrophic. Some had carried their dead inside. No one spoke. The love that you have to carry the deceased remains, the body, with you. At 5 feet, 9 inches tall, the fetid water reached Ibram's chest. Rodents floated on its surface. The soundtrack of screaming came from above. Shouts of Falangoyat, slaves. Ah. And motherfuckers want to call people house slaves. Oh, Halima Nahar heard RSF fighters shouting, "Kill all the Falangarat. Kill all the slaves." The Republic address system. Others saw RSF gang raping women in university rooms piled with bodies. I heard people begging them not to kill them. It was very close, says Ibrahim. Just 200 meters north, Qatar wondered how long Al Fashir could hold out. 11 p.m. Daoud is shot in the head. For 20 years, Qatar and his general had fought side by side. Joint forces fighter Khalil Mahmed saw Qatar treating Daoud as the RSF approach. He wanted to help his friend, but the enemy kept coming. Qatar's band of fighters were dwindling, outnumbered 20-1. Their weapons and archaic munitions were hopelessly inferior. Soviet-era V state of the art. I think that the V might be a typo. Our bullets were extremely low, says Daoud. So on the left, this right here is General Imam Daoud, who was shot in the head. In the center, we have once again Aboud Qatar. Fighting 20 years together. Compounded Compounding their predicament was that most of al-Fashir's military leadership had fled in an 80-vehicle convoy the previous day. Qatar had refused to go. Now, al-Fashir's fall, inevitable, a second convoy prepared to exit. Again, Qatar was offered a chance to leave and reunite with his wife, Hadiya, Ibrahim, and their 4-year-old son, Abu. He missed his family, says childhood friend Mohammed Ahmed. 2 p.m. Qatar gathered his fighters. Mohammed had never seen his typically composed leader so emotional. Gesticulating towards the thousands trapped, Qatar told his fighters he would not flee until every civilian had left. He kept saying, "I won't leave, I won't leave," Mohammed recalls. Ahmed adds, he said there were many wounded civilians. He would not abandon them. Meanwhile, Ibrahim, an acute asthmatic, was fighting for breath. Above the fighting was even louder. People were being killed on top of us. He heard tanks rumble overhead. The roof sagged. Ibrahim thought of his friend at Al Said Hospital. His roommate, Adam Ibrahim, had stayed with a pregnant woman. Witnesses later describe how RSF fighters ran from ward to ward, asking occupants if they were falangayat, slaves. Patients were killed in their beds. More than 460 were massacred inside the hospital. Adam Ibrahim was among them. The carnage continued. Fatima Idris was among 6,000 trapped within the university's western square. She recalls a calamitous breakout attempt. They opened fire. More than 400 fell dead. Pickups were driven over survivors. Eventually, the trucks could not move. There were too many bodies. "4 p.m. Qatar and his fighters clung on in a corner of the university. Dawood, heavily bandaged, prepared to die. All my fellow commanders had the mindset, we will not exit alive. As dusk approached, they burst out of the western gate and headed south, escorting a large group of children, elderly, and injured people. They were just in time. About 5 p.m., others inside the university made another bid for freedom. But the sprawling campus was now surrounded. Hundreds were mowed down. Video footage released on the RSF Telegram account on October 26, 2025, shows the group's jubilant fighters celebrating in the streets of El Fashir. Qatar reached a complex of warehouses near the airport where his 40 pickups were. Ibrahim, meanwhile, left the water tank. Crawling across roofs, he arrived at the Army's 157th Artillery Brigade base about 5 p.m. Al Fashir's westernmost location was teeming with civilians. 8 p.m. The night was moonlit, clear and cold. Ibrahim was shivering when he left the base with about 200 others. The aim was to reach Tawala, 28 miles away. Fighters on camels and in RSF pickups patrolled the terrain between. Capture meant execution. Ibrahim doubted he would see his fiancée again. Qatar felt similar uncertainties, but his immediate concern was the trenches encircling the city, dug by the RSF to prevent escape. About 10 p.m., Qatar dispatched a unit to surreptitiously I'm missing that P there. I gotta do this. I'm sorry. I'm fumbling that P right there. Surreptitiously fill a section of trench with earth so his convoy could drive across. It was painstaking, dangerous work. The massacres continued. Dawood watched as RSF fighters killed exhausted children sleeping near the airport fence. You could see the RSF going around killing them. A mother clutching her child was among those shot. Almost midnight. Ibrahim reached the third, final trench. It required 3 people, 2 standing on shoulders to reach the bottom. It was difficult for the children. Several families turned back. Pitch black, the trench was filled with bodies. Some were small children. The third trench was a trap. As Ibrahim's group reached, RSF gunmen opened fire. They were waiting for us. Ibrahim laid in the trench among the bleeding. Bodies tumbled on top of him. The firing stopped. Then came the chants. Falangayat, falangayat. Slave, slave.
I'm afraid of talking to people who are.
The chanting grew louder. Above, he saw heads peering down, scanning for movement. Gunfire strafed the trench. From the group of 200, 15 survived. Warnings. To frame al-Fashir within the time-worn narrative of collective international failure avoids a darker truth. Decisions were taken that ensured help never came. Both the US and UK suppressed or sidelined warnings that would have helped avoid the slaughter. Central to UK's approach was the Joint Analysis of Conflict and Stability, JACS, conceived to assess whether genocide was likely, and if so, to intervene suitably. The UK's own intelligence, sources confirm, said the RSF wanted to eliminate the city's non-Arab population. Yet no attempt
of talking to people who are outside of my race.
Yet no attempt was made to update JACS throughout the 18th-month siege. The most recent JACS assessment for Sudan is dated 2019. What, bro, how is that even fucking possible? So they knew exactly, they were purposely hiding a genocide. 4 years before the current war began. It typified an attitude, said experts. It typified an attitude, said experts, that cost lives. The UK's approach was a death sentence to the people of al-Fashir. Their lives were not seen as important as others, said a paramilitarian. Said a parliamentarian. What al-Fashir's residents viewed as expendable in July 2023, after an ethnic slaughter in nearby Jenin? Jenin?
pronouncenames.com. Do we have the correct pronunciation of
bro. Jenin. No, Janina. Janina or Ganina? Western intelligence agencies suggested al-Fashir would face worse. The UK mission to the UN Security Council asked Nathaniel Raymond, executive director of the Yale Humanitarian Research Lab, what could be done. Raymond advocated urgently deploying a UN monitoring force around al-Fashir. If we don't, these people will die. I begged them. Nothing happened. The US, similarly, seemed in no rush to help. Requests for kinetic intervention to protect al-Fashir were rejected. What year was this? Okay. 2023. The US State Department blocked intelligence assessments relating to al-Fashir that would have triggered an intervention to prevent genocide. Investigators assembled compelling, publicly unavailable evidence that the attack in Jenin was an ethnic rampage. Al-Fashir was next. State Department officials blocked the assessment. Sections of the report were requested to be deleted. Quote, there was an intelligence assessment that would have triggered a mass atrocity and genocide determination. That effort was stopped, said the source. They believe the warning was stifled to protect a U.S. mutual defense agreement with the UAE. Fucking shit, bro. So, yeah, no, we're and me, no, I don't want to point the finger at me. I've been fucking up. And Ace, thank you for being here. Because you have absolutely been on it. It's like we've been analyzing what's been going on in Palestine, what the Zionist entity is doing. And we're having these conversations. And we think we're seeing things and analyzing them properly, but we're watching everything with one eye closed. Because these things should not be separated. And that's not to say that we need to do a better job. I need to do a better job in talking about Sudan as much as Palestine. And I'm struggling to understand why I have failed to do that. And I'm not saying I like in this narcissistic way, but because I needed. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what the difference is, so that I don't make this mistake again, and so that it's easier to call out and to identify if this were to happen again, and tragically and realistically, it will. Was it the fact that Palestinians were able to document this in real time? Was that the difference? I'm trying again for the purpose of better spotting it next time. And I know I know that sounds harsh, or I don't want it to come off as dismissive to what's occurring now. I'm just thinking out loud. A says, I've done nothing but get angry, for real. I appreciate that there are people willing to listen. There have been some dark days when I thought literally no one cared. Yeah. I'm sorry you felt alone about this, Ace. A U.S. State Department spokesperson said they do not comment on alleged intelligence reports. The UK was similarly downplaying Darfur as a concern. Weeks after U.S. officials blocked its assessment, the UK government revised its view of the 2003-2005 Darfur genocide. A confidential briefing for MPs circulated last December stated that when Sudan's war began, Darfur was formally classed as genocide. But when the Islamic State's targeting of Iraq's Yazidi minority was added to the UK's official list in August 2023, Darfur was removed. It silently, inexplicably removed the Darfur genocide, stated a briefing. It wasn't the first sign Darfur had been deprioritized. As fighting spread across the region in 2023, a parliamentary report warned of genocide. Submitted to Downing Street, it received no formal response. Quote, "We were indignant outrage," said one of the authors. Yet the UK was al-Bashir's great hope. Not only Sudan's penholder at the UN Security Council, it had international responsibility for civilian protection. By summer 2024, with al-Bashir's siege 8 weeks old, London was suitably anxious about the deteriorating situation. An expert panel met government officials warning al-Bashir's fall would mean genocide. London appeared queasy over intervention. They kept saying, "You have to be absolutely sure," said Raymond. It felt like gaslighting. "I expressed my frustration with the UK government. They made it seem that we were crying wolf," he added. Also present was prominent analyst Khulud Khair. She told ministers that calling out the UAE could avert genocide. They refused. They were effectively saying, "We believe that saving lives is an imperative, but do we believe it enough?" In June 2024, a meeting of UK's Cobra Emergency Committee was secretly convened on al-Bashir. In June, Raymond briefed those attending. Beforehand, Cobra was told there would be a genocidal massacre. The RSF's intent was to completely liquidate. The RSF's intent was to complete the liquidation of al-Bashir. Soon after, the UN Security Council adopted a resolution demanding the RSF halt its siege.
1.5 million people sheltering in the city. The Council demands that the Rapid Support Forces immediately stop the siege of al-Fasher and that all sides step back from the brink. An attack on the city would be catastrophic for the 1.5 million people sheltering in the city.
Was I muted the whole time? Sorry. I'm going to reread that because I'm not sure, chat. My bad. The silence sent a signal to the killers. For the RSF and UAE, it offered consent for what would follow, said Khair. The Security Council never delivered another resolution on al-Bashir. Sanctions were not proposed against UAE despite a UN arms embargo on Darfur. Yet sources say US internal weapons assessment shared with the UK confirm al-Bashir was routinely attacked with UAE supplied weaponry. Weeks before the siege began, the UK's then Africa Minister Andrew Mitchell met the president of Chad and discreetly urged him to stop the UAE smuggling weapons into neighboring Darfur. Mitchell confirmed that even then, March 2024, he possessed incontrovertible, proof that the Emiratis were arming the RSF. Yet his government, likewise, the current, seemingly chose not to act. It was quickly clear the Starmer government did not want to piss off the Emiratis, said a U.S. source. A UAE official categorically rejected allegations that they supplied weaponry to the RSF, whether directly or indirectly. A foreign Commonwealth and Development official office said it was absolutely clear that external support to Sudan's warring parties must stop immediately. Atrocities, meanwhile, mounted. Ibrahim's hospital was repeatedly shelled. One drone strike killed more than 70. As increasingly heavy weaponry was tracked to El Fashir, the UAE denied involvement. In April 2025, UN members states urged Raymond to publicly present evidence of RSF atrocities and weapon systems around El Fashir to the Security Council, but Emirati pressure prevented me. Member state missions told me the Emiratis would not allow me to be brief. Would not allow me to brief the Security Council. How the fuck are they? How are they able to prevent that? How are they like how? Minowi particularly targeted the UK, arguing its approach encouraged the RSF. The US had issues. Its entire Darfur team, sources said, was wiped out by the US aid cuts, while senior State Department officials were briefed to stop US President Donald Trump meddling in Sudan. Keep Darfur off the president's desk, said a political. What the fuck? Keep Darfur off the president's desk, said a diplomatic source, adding that keeping UAE on side over Gaza was priority. What the fuck does that mean? Wow. This is why it cannot be discussed as completely separate things, man. And again, I'm not trying to diminish one over the other. I'm trying to say it is necessary for us to consistently connect these dots for people. For ourselves, for me, what the fuck? United Arab Emirates plans to bankroll first planned community in South Gaza. The United Arab Emirates plans to fund Gaza's first planned community on the ruined outskirts of Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city. Palestinian residents there will have access to basic services like education, healthcare, and running water, as long as they submit to biometric data collection and security vetting, according to planning documents and people familiar with the latest round of talks at the US-led Civil Military Coordination Center in the Zionist entity. What do they call it? That book I need to read it. The Gaza Lab? The Gaza Laboratory? This is like dystopian shit that they're trying to practice so that there's utter and complete control of civilians. The planned city would mark UAE's first investment in a post-war reconstruction project located in the part of Gaza currently held by the Zionist entity. The wealthy Gulf state has contributed more than $1.8 billion of humanitarian assistance to Gaza since the 7th of October 2023, according to UAE state media, making it Gaza's largest humanitarian donor. I don't even like the way that's worded, but I would have to, according to UAE state media. And how is that not money being funneled by the Zionist entity. There's no possible way, right? We have to go back to this. Sorry. Not sorry, but this is our focus for today. As al-Bashir's demise approached, Minawi engaged in frantic, futile diplomacy. Trump's Africa envoy, Mossad Bolis, never picked up the phone. I need to see what this motherfucker looks like, bro. We need to put a fucking face to these devils. Fucking disgusting, bro. Palestine Laboratory. Thank you, thank you. Two days before al-Bashir's fall, hope emerged. Balouz met UAE, Saudi, and Egyptian officials in Washington. Attempts, however, to discuss al-Bashir were vetoed. The UAE, sources said, threatened to storm out if the city was mentioned. They expressly said, "We will not talk about this, we will leave," they said. Within hours, al-Bashir trembled beneath a bombardment from AH-4 howitzers, allegedly provided by the UAE. At 1:44 p.m. on the 25th of October 2025, less than 12 hours before the al-Bashir massacre began, Balouz tweeted his gratitude for the UAE's commitment to ending suffering of the Sudanese people. Yeah, this motherfucker needs. And it's the only times where I really still hope, where I'm like, all right, maybe there's going to be a hell, and maybe an eternity would not be enough. Yesterday in Washington, the United States hosted Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates for a meeting of the Quad to advance collective efforts towards peace and stability in Sudan, including efforts for securing an urgent humanitarian truce, achieving a permanent ceasefire, halting external support, and advancing a transition to civilian governance. The members reaffirmed their commitment to the September 12th ministerial statement and agreed to establish a joint operational committee to strengthen the coordination on urgent priorities. POTUS wants peace, and we are united in our commitment to ending the suffering of the Sudanese people. Fucking shit, bro. Shit, I gotta fill out some paperwork for some union stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to pick this up tomorrow. I gotta get back. Sorry, I totally forgot about this. We're about to hit 4 hours. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta tap out here. My apologies. I did want to get through this, but there's also no point in rushing this. We still have, these 2 sections left. I'm gonna drop this on the chat, and truly encourage y'all to read it on your own when you have the time. Thank you for putting up with my linguistic issues and my inability to pronounce the English language. I try to lock in. It's a serious subject. My apologies. I don't know what to say. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do the regular pitch. I just feel like I've been fucking up. I feel like I've been, and again, when I say I just mean like, bro, like, Yeah. I'm just gonna put the channel and stuff. Remember what Glenn Ford said? Organize with eyes wide open. The Beast by John Trudell. In a wisp of smoke down on the corner, there was this cat named Fortunately, talking at me from voices in his head, yelling about what storytellers said. You gotta be careful here, child. There's a beast in the promised land. There's madness you don't understand. The beast is crazed and running wild. Little boy, man, little girl, woman, no big deal. Nothing personal. Your mind's another meal. Savoring the rush of you like heady wine. Feeding is what the beast is meant to do. Stranger are those walls built to hide. Stranger to look and learn not to see. He's in the mask you put on your face. Thoughts, his favorite breeding place. In the race to midnight, it's after 11. The nature of the beast is all he knows. Behind doors of hell are gates of heaven. Doors are open, but the gates are closed. Se cuidan. Estuvo.